Hello everybody and welcome. So there is going to be a 5-minute delay on the stream. For those that are tuning in, I'm not sure if it's going to record this portion as the delay is starting, but I want to just say, first off, there's going to be a brief silence after I do the introduction. I will timestamp this for those who are watching the VOD rather than the physical live stream. But first off, I want to welcome everybody here. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day, night. For me, it's in the middle of the night. It's 4 a.m. here, and we're going to be covering APAC North for Apex Legends Winter Circuit. So I'm really hyped, really excited to be here. I'm going to be setting up just a few things as we get underway. Teams will be hopping in here probably in about 5 minutes or so, just in time as everything gets up and running. There is going to be new Season 8 content coming up on the channel. Just want to give everyone a heads up about that. I want to give a shout out to everybody. Thank you so much for being part of the channel, the stream. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. We got some intense rounds for today, and we're going to be looking at the scoring, giving in-depth analysis review. I'm going to be quiet for a second. So for those that are watching the VOD, just until the stream goes pretty much live here on YouTube, and then we'll get started. I'm really excited though. Just need a few seconds to set a few things up. 2 seconds. Looks like we got teams piling in. We're getting started here, just warming up. I'll have chat, everything open in just a hot second. Should be good to go. Everyone is piling in. I'm pumped. I'm excited. Okay, I think we have everything. I think we are good to go. Okay. Hello everybody and welcome back to the stream and welcome back to the channel. I'm very excited because today we are going to be shoutcasting Apex Legends APAC North. Got a very exciting stream for everybody here. I know for most this is in the middle of the night, and for those that are watching, very excited to have you here. If you're watching the VOD, don't worry, I'm going to put timestamps. Just to notate, as I always say, this is live. It is on a 5-minute delay. As you can see, I'm behind the scenes currently. We're about to get started here in the lobby. Everyone is just piling in. Everyone is getting ready. This is APAC North. We got some very excited teams today. We have T1. We have Crazy Raccoon that we've seen before. We've seen HE Arise. We got some new teams that we've seen. Fennel Korea obviously is a very dominant within the space, as well as Fennel. So we got a lot of underdogs as well, a lot of fantastic teams for today. So just in a hot second, all I'm going to do is get everything situated. Volt, it's good to see you. Kyle, welcome to the channel. Skies, YT, Jeffrey, Run. It's good to have everyone here. Two seconds. Let me just set up chat, kind of get things situated here. I'm very excited for today. This is going to be a fantastic stream. It's going to be able to give you the inside look in terms of everything, the behind the scenes, competitive, everything. So going to be very exciting. We'll give you the inside scoop. We're going to join the journey in terms of you have somebody you'd like for us to follow along during the competition. Let me know. I will read in between the rounds and catch up with chat, listen to everyone's feedback. And of course, shout out to everybody who definitely just hops in and says hello. I'm really excited to be here though. So give me 2 seconds. All I'm going to do is just get some tweets out, let everyone know that we are here, that we're live. In the middle of the night for me, just as a FYI. It is very late, but that is okay. Two seconds. Again, of course, there is a delay on the stream only because, you know, we need to keep the competitive integrity since we're going to be behind the scenes, literally casting, moving around, and I'm going to be shoutcasting by myself. This is going to be a pretty intense 3 to 4 hours as obviously we give you the inside scoop of everything that's happening and how teams are performing. So I'm really excited. So I just need 2 seconds here. Looks like that's good. It looks good on the back end. So just a reminder for all, we do have more content coming for Season 8, so really excited. All right, let's see here. So we're good with that. Stream looks like we're all set. I think we're ready to hop into this. So I'm actually very curious myself how teams are going to compete for today. Usually we've always seen Wraith, Bloodhound, and Gibraltar. But I'm curious because last time, especially with APAC North, we saw a lot of Caustic. I'm curious if we're going to see a lot of teams play cautiously, kind of figure things out. We're going to see more Watson in play. If we're going to see even Revenant. I know we saw Revenant in APAC South come into play, and it was also very exciting. Once we hop in, we'll be able to follow all the action. I will try to follow the teams that are in the lead as we kind of see a team that's definitely on the rise and definitely performing quite well. So I want to keep hot tabs on how all of that is doing. But don't worry, we'll be on the inside scoop. We'll check everything out. Let me just get chat up in one more spot and then we'll be ready to go. I'm just waiting for the countdown timer behind the scenes. Right now, I guarantee you players have warmed up. They probably hopped in Kovacs, the test range, aim lab, who knows, anything they need to warm up. For me, to warm up, all I did was just stay up. Got myself some coffee and ready for the evening here. All I'm doing is I'm just setting up chat briefly here. I want to be able to interact with you guys in between the rounds. I'd very much love to hear your feedback, talk about how things are going. And ladies and gentlemen, we are flying. We are in it. Match 1 is underway. I will be turning off the music in between once we're in the round. So this is match 1 of the evening. Check in the back and make sure everything is good to go. I'm very happy. They started quite on time, so that's exciting. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the music and let's just talk about what we're going to see. I'm going to take a quick look and we're going to try to see where everyone is landing and where the hot areas are going to be at. And we'll make our best decisions. So things to note, are that obviously we're going to be experiencing some lag because this is APAC North. I happen to be on the East Coast here in the United States. But just giving a heads up that I may experience lag every once in a while. We're watching the gunfights. It's completely normal. Also, the screen that you're seeing right now is that players are selecting their legends. So we'll see what they select. And as we're overhead, we're going to see if we see any 50-50s right off the rip. Usually what you see in a lot of these fights and encounters is that most players at the start of a competitive round are going to be very respectful, especially in the finals of what we're seeing here today. And the curious thing is if we're going to have that level of respect for today, or if players are just going to go right into it. So let's take a look at some of the comps that we got. We got some cryptos in play. Like I said, we have a lot of caustics, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of caustic, which is very, very exciting. We're going to follow T1 right off the rip here. Curious where they're going to land as we follow along. T1 looks like they're taking Lava Fissure. Lava Fissure is definitely a very hot commodity. Very popular spot. And we're going to follow right along. So we don't see any 50-50s for the most part. What you're going to see here, most teams, is that they got their loot rotations down. They're trying to get their loot. We're going to see teams play very, very passive at the start. If I see a 50-50 run off the rip, especially with caustics in play this many, I would be shocked. And it looks like we actually already do with FKL already fighting. Let's take a look at the Horizons POV. It looks like we got a fight over in Fragment. Quick R31 fry. Just to keep in mind that we do experience lag at the very start of the round, so this will even out, not to worry, chat, and that we will pretty much get right back into this and engaged. So the Horizon here is just trying to clutch this out. The Gibraltar's down, gets into the gunfight here, blocks the door, pretty low, tries to hold the angle. But they're going to be low on heals at this point. They're going to have to rotate out. There's no way they could probably stick this res. You hear them on the outside. Not enough time. That's definitely a moment where we consider should they take the res or not. But don't worry, the lag is going to dissipate and go away. Hey, MTL, what's going on? All right, well, we saw a pretty early fight there. Looks like FKL, which is Fennel, a very, very popular team, especially when they performed in APAC overall and had stellar performance. So all I'm trying to do is just make sure I got some of the technical stuff in the back end set up. I'm experiencing just a little lag, but it looks like it's evening out. That happens at the start of the rounds. So let's take a look at T1 and see what they're doing. They're taking Lava Fissure, and it looks like they're doing a fast rotation to Trials. We don't see a whole lot of Trials occur, but it looks like T1 is feeling pretty confident here in terms of the rotation, knowing that they have this ability to have the up and up. Let me just fix one of my chat boxes here for you guys in just a hot second. We're going to continue to commentate and get right back into it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to see a whole lot of fighting here. We're going to see a whole lot of rotations. Let's take a look at the first zone. T1 has the hardest rotation to fly in, so we're probably going to keep a close eye on them. And we'll switch back over to FKL to see how they're doing in just a hot second. Looks like Fennel Korea might be in a fight. No, actually just the same team that we saw before. Just making sure. Making sure that we're all set. Let me set up the seconds, please. Love to hear your feedback. If there's a team specifically you would love to follow, definitely would make it happen. I know it is very, very late right now. And for me, it's like 4 a.m. in the morning. Alright, so we'll follow along. It looks like they're getting in the res. They are going to be uncontested. Oh, actually, they will be contested here. They're just covering the angle. Get some pretty good shots with the longbow here. Running a nice combo of Volt and Longbow. For those that are wondering at home if this is ever a good combo, obviously you need to get yourself a long range and a close range. The Volt happens to be a very, very popular weapon. So unfortunately, the Gibraltar did go down in this situation. This is probably the only fight that is occurring, so we're going to keep a close eye on it. Teams are going to rotate. Let me just adjust my microphone. Looks like they did get him up. Good positioning on their part. Let's take a look at the Gibraltar as he makes his rotation around. So you're probably asking the question, why would a team not push this? Well, the issue is that most teams are playing respectful early on. They're not going to go for the full 50-50. And it is interesting that we have seen a 50-50 off the rip for a team. That's why you saw FKL shoot the box. You know, it's kind of one of those things where it feels like a level of disrespect. Everyone's just trying to feel things out, and nobody necessarily wants this right off the bat. Feels very uncomfortable, especially going out exactly as the first team. So that can be a little rough. For those that are curious about the format, we got 6 matches today, all on World's Edge. Teams are about to rotate. If we look at the zone, we're asking where is the zone going to end. We're probably predicting around Sorting Factory, potentially around the geyser area up here. It's a very popular pull. If not, we'll see a pull to the south, which most teams probably don't want to see. If I don't get to respond to chat, just remember that we are on a 5-minute delay. And the reason why we have a 5-minute delay is to keep competitive integrity. So if I don't respond, just as a heads up, a lot is happening. Also, we have CR actually already in a fight here. Apologize that we missed that there. It looks like they're rotating out. Looks like we already had a team get out, which is unfortunate there. So let's take a look at the rotations. Let's take a look at T1 as they're rotating in already. They have a long rotation. They're going to fight over here in Fragment in just a hot second. We'll get an idea where everyone lands and figure out where everyone is going at this point. And then as these rounds keep going, we'll follow who are the leading stars. Or if you guys happen to have a recommendation, who your favorite team is and who you want more color commentary over. So this is actually a fantastic comp that we're seeing. T1 is not running a Gibraltar. So they're saying that they don't want to run a Gibraltar. And it looks like SG is already getting into a fight. We may not be able to catch in the action. This is just, unfortunately, the beauty of a BR that we're going to run into. Let's take a look from the POV. They did a quick mop-up. As we kind of get into the flow of where teams are going to land, we're going to be able to commentate even better and make a more positive impact of where teams are fighting. So this is, let's take a look over at RC. Also at FT, they're actually already in a fight here. Let's take a look at these guys and how they're doing. They're fighting over here at launch site. There's a lot of teams in this rotation. So we're going to hold here and take a look at this action. Let's take a look over at the Horizon, who happens to have a different angle. Unfortunately, their Wraith is down, which means that they don't necessarily have an out. Very uncomfortable situation for them, so they're going to have to find a different angle and get out because there are 2 other teams around them. Will he perhaps go for the banner? Most likely not. I don't think he has the ability. What's interesting is that we see a lot of Caustics, a lot of Horizons. This is definitely way different than we saw for finals in terms of the prior tournament. Looks like the Gibraltar is getting caught out in a corner here. He's ducking and weaving, pulling his Muhammad Ali talents out. Drops the Gibby Bubble for a little bit of time just to avoid some pressure. Pops a bat. Horizon ducks out. It's a very uncomfortable situation as most teams are going to be fighting and he gets knocked. So the Horizon does go for the banner. She can queue up to get herself out, but unfortunately she knows the minute that she does it that she's probably not going to live. And there's the Q. Tries to get out. She's going to go make her way over for the Gibraltar. Find some cover here. She's getting picked on, and unfortunately there is the wipe on that team, unfortunately. So let's take a different angle here. Let's take a look at how they're doing here. So far, with the other team is Detonator. Detonator's doing pretty solid. Has 2 kills early on. They got Charge Rifle Charlie here. Popping off some shots. Charge Rifle is definitely something that's very, very annoying, especially at this caliber and level of play. It can be pretty rough. It can be pretty rough to deal with. The Gibraltar Bubble, as you can see, is definitely used for rotations. So seeing some teams like this team, like Detonator, run without a Gibraltar, it's pretty scary, to be honest. I'm actually really surprised to see how many Gibraltars I am not seeing in play. But of course, they could definitely be filling out the overall level and how things are going. We may need to switch over to SG in just a hot second. I was thinking they might get into another fight, but let's switch over to SG and see how they're doing. Actually, let's take a look at Fennel, as they're probably running away from them. Let's take a look at the rotation, how they're coming into the overall fight. And he gets absolutely lasered. So a lot of these fights are actually happening mostly from a distance at the moment as teams are trying to get some fights and clutching things out. Teams that are performing well at the moment are definitely Detonator and SG Gaming. So we'll keep a hot eye on SG Gaming because they're really hot right now. What could happen, unfortunately, as we're commentating and watching them, is that they could play a little bit more passive and then we might miss the action. But they have, in the lobby so far, built some momentum. We hear Crypto Drone scouting them out. They're already getting into a fight here. It's a good thing we're keeping an eye on SG. SG today is saying they are on fire and they want this. As you can even tell, overall, they got 3 kills, 2, and then 1, a total of 6, so they're sitting pretty comfortable. They may continue to ape if they feel overall confident. When a team is building this type of momentum, you don't really want to stop. You feel very, very comfortable with that overall. But again, if you're just tuning in, I want to welcome you guys to the stream. We are actually shoutcasting here, APAC North official tournament. This is the finals currently. We got 6 games in play. We're going to see how every single game comes into play. We're going to be strictly on World's Edge for today. We're keeping an eye right now on SG. T1, let's take a look at them actually. One knock already from the horizon. Looks like they're out in the open making a rotation. I'll switch back to SG if things change. T1 does have a rough rotation in, unfortunately. We'll take a look. It looks like the server is kind of messing up there for a second, but that's okay. We're right back at it. Had a little bit of ping loss, which is perfectly fine. And you know what's interesting is that we don't see any Watsons. Not a single Watson is in play, which is absolutely wild. There's no Watsons. It's all Caustic, the big boy Caustic. T1 has to rotate. We know SG has to make a rotation, and no other teams are going to fight currently. Everyone realistically should be holding their own. T1 does have a team that is right behind them. We have to wonder if they're going to get caught out. It's interesting as well. Most individuals are going to be running this Caustic skin. I don't know if you've ever seen Caustics. It does look a little thinner. Doesn't mean the hitbox is actually physically thinner, but it doesn't make him look less like a larger individual, to say the least. As they all rotate in, let's take a look at SG. They have been popping off. They know they were dealing with the team earlier. They're playing it safe. This is the worst location that we can actually really have in terms of circle. I was saying was going to pull towards sorting. Looks like we're around the launch site area, which makes it really hard for top tier teams like T1 to rotate and move south. It can be very, very difficult for them to get better positioning. This is not a bad spot for SG to be in. They do have a team behind them, but they know that when they have this cave that they're kind of out in the open. They don't have height. The ideal spot is to be around launch site. We hear some shots going out. Let's take a look at Jupiter's end. Looks like they're still just rotating in overall. Let's take a look at T1 as they're rotating. T1 is trying to find a safe spot to really just get in here. This is the idea. So I'm going to look over at the map just for a second, and if we get some action, I will switch as best as I can to them. But T1 has to move in. They're trying to come from more of the high ground, but the issue here coming from the high ground is that this is a bit of an open space, and they don't have a Gibby for the rotation, so this is definitely a bit of a ballsy play. You can see, I'm already calling it what's about to happen here. They're going to get shot. They have an open play. They do not have a Gibraltar, but they have a Horizon to get on height. Let's see how they're going to handle the situation. They're assessing right now, do we rotate around? Do we stay here? Do we just wait for the zone? They know that this zone is not going to pull towards this overall area. They have to realize that they have to pull more south, and they got an uphill battle on that. Let's take a look at SG since they have been hot. Looks like they're just holding. They're putting up the caustic gases. Let's go back to T1.
Let's explore this way.
So SG, big killers in the lobby right now. Everyone's going to play patiently. Looks like launch site is getting pretty hot. Let's take a look at Detonator. They probably haven't moved from there. And look at this. As I mentioned, Detonator did not move. Looks like there's a port there. Gets some solid frags there. Definitely frying with a thermite. Takes the port back. Absolutely fried him. Great accuracy from Team Detonator. So all they're going to do is just keep putting the pressure here. This is probably one of the biggest teams. We'll switch to this POV because I know he's getting into a gunfight. Might drop his caustic barrel on that edge. What they're doing is they're just pretty much edging them out, making sure that they don't feel comfortable whatsoever. That charge rifle, though, is definitely going to be annoying. Does not make it very comfortable. So all they're doing is just doubling back and forth, and this team is really at the ropes at the bottom. Looks like Unite, unfortunately, is starting to go out. Gets an angle there. Really nothing much Unite can do there. Pretty solid plays from Detonator by not getting greedy. And in this situation, the worst thing you could do is get greedy and drop. So that's why you're not seeing the full-on ape. And it looks like Detonator's really taking a big solid lead here in terms of kills. Let's take a look at SG. See what they're doing. SG's hard holding. Let's see how T1 is going to make it overall in for this for the situation. Aishi, shout out. Good to have you here. Farrell, good to have you here as well. How many matches are there, chat? There's going to be a total 6, ladies and gentlemen.
Shall we head this way?
So as I mentioned, they chose not to take the overall height. They know they have to work their way in. They're going to play patiently and wait for the other teams to rotate. We are going to see, let's take a look at SG. SG's feeling some pressure here. If you notice, they're definitely going to feeling some pressure from the inside and the back. SG's going to probably have a rough situation here. I'm going to hedge a bet that this is going to be one of the bigger fights in the situation. Because as these teams rotate out, SG's literally sandwiched forwards and backwards. They have to know that the team behind them is still present. I would not feel safe. Unfortunately, they do have to push right into this angle. So see how they manage to catch this out. Caustic barrels do hold massive angles here. It's crazy how many caustics we're seeing. Branching away from the Gibraltar, Bloodhound and Wraith meta. Switching more for Caustic, Bloodhound, and Wraith. Zone's closing in 33 seconds. I'm just going to keep an eye on SG because they were on fire. Let's see if they keep this momentum and consistency. Looks like we got Pinky holding the angle, waiting for the rotation out. Let's take a look at the map real quick. The team looks like they're rotated on the other side, but we got a big battle in front that T1 is definitely going to get on the action on. We got Pinky looking at the angles. They know that there's a team fight happening out here. They're trying not to get greedy, but they know they need to move in. Fortunately, not getting a lot of snags, but luckily that his teammate in the crossfire is doing a whole lot of damage and getting some solid plays here. He's taking a lot of zone damage, but he knows he can't rotate until he gets that bat off. Holds, gets a scan out, goes for the med kit, waiting for his teammates to do the damage. So what we're noticing here is that it's very smart just to hold and wait and let his teammates do the damage and then come in afterwards for some hot damage. Looks like Show takes a massive amount of hits. They're aping. Maybe the ape was not actually the right play, but comes with a Mastiff. And unfortunately, the other team gets wiped. Big ballsy play on their part. They knew they had to make a play considering they get shot from a different angle, and they start to recover overall. If you look at the map, they know they have a good spot. Getting shot from a different angle. They're hard holding. Thermite's coming in. Gets knocked. Let's switch over to a different POV. Let's see how the Wraith is doing. Swapping armors. Trying to keep his cool, keep his composure. The gas is going out. He's waiting patiently. There's the res. Gets some solid damage. Unfortunately, gets knocked. Now it's just up to the Caustic to do some damage here. Let's switch to his POV. Gets a strong Massive shot off. Uses a shield for cover. And nice. Good cleanup. Now he can recover with his team. This is big points for SG. SG is making some massive plays. Clutching out. Playing patient. Their Caustic has a total of 6 kills. Taking kill leader over on the lobby. This is fantastic. We're going to keep an eye on them. We know other teams are fighting. So once, let's take definitely a switch over to T1 and see how they're doing, as that's where this action is taking place right here. SG and T1 are going to be running into each other in just a hot second. T1 has an uphill battle. SG can probably sneak on by the left side. See some solid G7 scout shots. Got a gold stabilizer on it. Feeling pretty confident. Got the EVA 8 for some close range action. Let's take a look at FKL. Let's see how they're doing on their angle. Notice that they got some kills at a distance. They're just poking. Just doing a little poking. Just a little poking with a triple take. Let's take a look if that's SG down there. Rotating, and yes, it is. SG's looking for the rotation, looking for an angle, trying to get in. This is where everything gets really intense. We know that SG has to push into the zone as well as T1. And the team up above is going to feel the pressure. Strong R301 shots with a nice 3x on it. Everyone's fan favorite. If you're ever curious why pros run it, just gives you a nice solid FOV and feels very, very comfortable. We see the port over on the left. He's not getting greedy with the kill. They say, you know, we got a lot of kills. We just need placement. They're making their way in. They have strong positioning, but unfortunately, they're going to get shot at a lot of different angles here. They do not have a Gibraltar, and unfortunately, they're going to get lasered here because they're getting shot at too many different angles. They're going to run. They're going to abandon their Caustic. Let's switch to a different POV and see how they manage to clutch this out. Their best bet is that other teams are going to fight. They need the other teams to fight. If the other teams don't fight, well, it's definitely going to feel pretty quite uncomfortable because all they're going to do is get picked on. Got 2 cracks. They're feeling very uncomfortable here. They're in the center of everything. They see other teams shooting. They recover. They don't have a Caustic here for the cover. I don't know if they see the guy on the left. There's people and there's teams on the left, but they're too focused on the team right in front. And they 3-2-1 him. Unfortunately, they don't get the full damage on it. And now they finally realize the team on the left. Whenever you're in these intense situations, it can be very hard to keep track of every single individual player that's on the map. So it looks like SG Pinky gets a solid knock there. Gets his level, gets an upgrade on his Evo armor, and now he's going to slow heal. We're unsure how much he's got in terms of his inventory. He's definitely slow healing this, trying to save the bats if he's got him. Definitely feel like they are losing by overall attrition. We got 7 squads remaining. Let's take a look over at T1 to see if they managed to rotate in. They got the angle here. Let's switch back to SG. I'm curious with SG because they're the ones with some of the largest kills and honestly the most aggro. Glad we came right back over to this. SG says, you know, we may be one person down, but it doesn't matter. We got swaps for days here. Swapping to a different red armor. Taking a little off angle here. Waiting for the other teams to get into some actions. Takes the height. Big brains it. Everyone's trying to climb up. Doesn't make it to the top first. Goes into a 1v1 situation with the Wraith here. Is whiffing his massive shots. Hitting for the 13s. It's been an unlucky day for him. Tries to go drop down for the swap. Pinky's in a really rough spot. Gets his knock. Unfortunately, that's it for SG, but they did clutch out a lot of kills. So let's take a look at T1. Let's see how they're doing here. They're hard holding their angle. They're gating some teams as they're coming on in. Got the good old Hemlock. Feels overpowered. Feels good, man. Having a solid Hemlock in play. It's got a team dying to zone. We see the pressure. We feel the pressure. They're hoping that they can edge teams out. They know the zone's going to hurt. They hard hold, and they have a nice, solid place to feel comfortable. Only 2 squads remaining. And we got T1 versus FK, as well as one lonely little rat from CCC. They know by the lack of shots that they're feeling comfortable. Look at that. Eating his cells for days. Feeling pretty comfortable there, just throwing. We got some strong kills from FK, taking some of the thunder away. Let's take a look from the Horizon point of view. Let's see if a Horizon decides. It would be very unwise to throw your Q and put yourself up, but let's see if they manage to utilize the ult to make a big brain play here. You're not going to see the Wraith portal in. They're going to use the port more for the end zone to find a different rotation. Let's see if they utilize the Horizon ult to make a play. It's got it up. They're just waiting for information. Doing the quick peeks. Trying to be sporadic. Trying to be unpredictable. What he's doing there, he's not necessarily hoping to get shots. He's hoping that they get distracted by them. There's the Gibby ult. He's going to do some damage. And she decides to pop up. And here is the Horizon ult in play. There's the nades going out. We see the caustic gas out. This is a massive play. This is really amazing to see a Horizon pop off, making an adjustment and countering the Gibraltar ult. That was exciting to see. Is it enough, though? We see some solid damage. Let's switch a POV here to the Wraith, who's popping off with a shotgun. And there's the game. What a wonderful play by the Horizon. That puts a smile on my face. Listen, we all know that Horizon can be really strong, but we saw nothing of Horizon on finals last week. So it's been pretty exciting to see the fact that the Horizon was a great play to counter the Gibraltar ult, get them hyped, throw the gas out, and make a massive play. So shout out to T1 making the Horizon work, and it makes you wonder if they're going to be able to clutch it out and make a massive play here. So we're going to do real quick, I want to catch up a chat. Remember, there is a 5-minute delay. Know that I appreciate all of you guys for being here. We're going to hop into now round 2. So what a round, what a first play here. Saw a lot of caustic, see some Horizons in play, and see a lot of stuff happening. So pretty cool, very, very exciting, very cool first match of the day. It does put a smile on my face getting to see a little bit of variety here. And I can definitely do more. Ras can definitely do it. Let's do a shout out to everyone who is here. Let me go back and we're gonna hop into the next game here for game 2. So it looks like FK is making a very strong presence, claiming dominance. So we have SG and T1 making the big plays. So let's give a shout out to everyone who's in chat. I'm going to go through the huge list. I just want to thank you guys. Volt for being here. Kyle. Skies. Jeffrey. Run. Good to have you. When can we expect new Season 8 content? You're going to see some very later today. Definitely early here in the morning. Chance, good to have you here. Samarish. Farrell. Husky. Game 1. We're in Game 1. It's good to have you here. And tomorrow, it's good to have you. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. Aishi, good to have you. Good morning. We're going to see less bubble fights. A lot of Horizon. OG Pogtane, thank you so much for being here. Sander, thank you so much as well. Aishi, yes, the launch of the new season is February 2nd. MTL, appreciate you. Good to have you as well. Boss Guy, love you, buddy. Husky, thank you so much for the support. A lot of heirlooms. We're definitely seeing a lot of them. Bunker boys. This is very true. You got Wastic, Caustic. Mostly Caustics. We need a Watson buff. I'd love to see it. And Nahan Vlogs. It's good to see you, man. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. I apologize. I knew you stopped by the stream before. It's good to have you here. But again, we're going to hop right back into it. Let me see if the lobby is up. Good first round of the day. Good first round of the day. This is going to be round 2. What's up, Joe Mom? It's good to have you. we're just waiting, and let me see how the lobbies are looking. Once everyone is recovering from the first round, probably looking in general to see where things feel comfortable. Let's see here. Let's see how things are going. I'm generally curious how, if people are going to switch it up. The fact that we have so many caustics in play, it's pretty massive, man. It's pretty massive. Here. Server to go up. There we go. All right. Game 2. Everyone is going to be hopping in, getting comfortable in here. Just know I appreciate all of you guys for hopping in for today. Already got a massive number of peeps hopping in. Appreciate all you guys. Morgan Freeman's in the chat. Shout out to Morgan Freeman. And honestly, I was kind of shocked. I was curious if SG was going to be able to clutch it out. Don't forget, if you are enjoying what you're seeing in terms of shoutcasting, tips and tricks, don't forget to leave a like on the stream. It's very, very helpful. For those that are just tuning in, we are covering APAC North. We have quite a few teams in for today. Some heavy hitters. We got FK. We have T1. Detonator. A lot of big names, a lot of big teams. We've got some underdogs as well. We'll be sure to follow the underdogs and see how things are going, see how teams are getting comfortable. But it's definitely a pretty exciting shake-up for the first round. Definitely got to see a bit more of Crazy Raccoon to see how they're putting things together. All right, let's see here. I know you guys want to see more of RAC. Could definitely take a look, see how they're doing. But at the moment, I want to keep an eye on T1, SG, and Fennel Korea, and just Fennel in general, because Fennel is definitely showing up and wants to be here, wants to play. So very exciting. Actually, for those that are saying you're from Texas, I'm actually from Texas myself. I was not gonna lie, that Horizon play still gets me pretty pumped. That one definitely blew me away. I'm pretty impressed by that Horizon play. I love Horizon. She's definitely, at first, you know, it was crazy. Players were not playing her initially. She was not put into play, but it's pretty crazy to see how much she's being utilized now. So that's pretty wild, pretty exciting. And again, for those that are curious about the Season 8 content, I have way more coming. I promise. We're going to have some coming out later today. Actually, shout out to DA for letting me shoutcast. Where all the opportunities. If you're curious, we already have a guide out for the 3030. Is already out. So very, very exciting. Francisco, appreciate it. Appreciate you, buddy. So I will break down some of the scores here in a moment. What we're seeing here is first place is T1, as you saw. FK Korea, or Fennel Korea, is second place at 20 points. SG, third place at 15. Crazy Cats Cosmo at 9. Detonator at 5th place with 9 points. Reignite currently at 8. GTS Black at 6. Hybrid Eclipse at 5. Crazy Raccoon at 5. Jupiter Vega in 10th place with 4 points. So let's take a look. This is finals. This is a finals, so we're going to see how this all shakes up. Again, leave a like for staying up. It's, what time is it now? We are now at 4:40 in the morning. I am shoutcasting this solo, having a lot of fun shoutcasting it. Got to keep up with all the action. I don't have a co-host, so if you're enjoying it, let EA know, because I really enjoy this, and I think when we commentate this, I think it's very educational as well. I think it helps people understand how to get better at Apex Legends. Because you're going to notice how a lot of teams do have a large number of respect in lobbies, how they're not necessarily pushing, aping, making big plays. Tactician's good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. So is Watson not meta anymore? This is a fantastic question. So we're seeing a lot less Watson, but that's because Caustic has been making such a big play. It is curious. It makes me wish that Watson had a bit more of a buff. It's mostly because her fences can be taken out so quickly and so easily. What we're curious, what we're going to see here in round 2 is if teams are going to make a change in terms of what they run to counter. We're seeing way less Gibraltars out in play compared to well, what we're used to saying, right? On the drop, I'm going to follow T1 and FK because FK has been contested in Fragment. We do see an early 50-50 fight going on. So we have about another 3 minutes until we get started here. Every team is just kind of probably reassessing, figuring out how round 1 went, questioning things, celebrating things, such as that Horizon play from round 1. I would be definitely celebrating that. Cheers. For timing, yeah, it's for most people around the world. Shout out to for those that are watching. If you're in the United States, shout out because it's super late for all of us. If you're around the world from India, even from UK, I think we saw somebody shout out if they were from Brazil. It's good to have you here. And of course, even if you're from, you know, Asia and you're watching just the English version of the shoutcasting of the overall event, it's fantastic to have you here as well. Honored to have you guys all be a part. I'm very excited as we take in for round 2. So just as a reminder in terms of score, so everyone gets where the score is. T1, his first place was 23 points. FK, 20 points. SG, 15 points. And of course, Crazy Cat Cosmo in 4th place with 9 points. So let's keep a close eye on them and see how they all do. Because I'm pretty excited. Don't forget to leave a like, guys. Helps people find the channel. Helps people hop on in. Somebody shouted out, Leo, good to have you. I'm so curious what the Watson buff might be. What's the inside scoop? Nudge, nudge. She needs a buff, man. She needs a little bit of love to be a little bit more competitive. I've seen some suggestions, such as being able to hide her fences by turning them off and turning them on by like some sort of wrist button. That's not confirmed by anybody. I just saw it on Reddit. I thought it was a pretty good idea. Also, what would be interesting is that if she was able to dish out higher damage if you shot through her fences. I saw that suggestion. I think that would be fantastic and interesting, kind of like a little bit of a Rampart kind of vibe there. But she definitely needs something because Caustic does so much damage holding an angle and definitely slows for a longer period of time compared to Watson. Not to say Watson's impossible to utilize, just very, very difficult. Lyrical, it's good to have you here. Death Runner, fantastic to have you here as well. Appreciate all of you guys for being here. Let me take a look on the back end. I want to see how the lobbies are going. Okay, looks like they're about to begin here in about just a hot second. We'll probably get a 10-second countdown timer. They're just setting up some stuff. Looks like some people are having some issues just connecting. I think maybe some quick things. You're confused with the schedule. Hopefully I can answer your question in terms of the schedule, hopefully before we hop in. That play really showed her use in comp. It was fantastic. It was fantastic to see a Doodle. I agree. I have been wanting to see more Horizon in play, so it was pretty exciting today. But just how much Gibraltar got pushed out is pretty crazy. The fact that I said it before, I was expecting to just see Wraith, Bloodhound, Gibraltar, because that's what we saw when we last shoutcasted APAC North. But the fact that we started this out and everyone's running Caustic, insane. Who's my favorite champion? I'm a big Watson fan. I main Watson for a long time. She's very underwhelming and very underpowered. Big fan of currently Horizon. I think Horizon is a lot of fun. I think a lot of people agree that she is quite overpowered and she does get her verticality in. Eric, it's good to have you here. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. So, first round, 43 minutes into the tournament already. Looks like all teams are ready. And we should hop in just a hot second. Who are you guys rooting for? I am going to have to put my money on FK. FK, when they start off strong, they definitely keep up their consistency. Not to knock Fennel, but Fennel Korea just... I've seen them in play, and I've shoutcasted their events, and I know that they're really strong. SG just has a really strong chance. I'd love to see some of the underdogs and see what they can do. Crazy Raccoon, I've seen them really pop off, so they're this is not it for them, you know? If you're not able, WOC, I will have the guide later today. I will have a guide, and I'll give you my thoughts on that guide. So be sure to check out that video later today about Fuse. I will. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna tell you the time. That it's just coming out later today. I can at least tell you that. Isn't Watson getting a buff for season 8? Can not confirm nor deny. I would love for her to get a buff. Hopefully, if she doesn't, well, I guess I'll be a very sad panda. Anti-gravity grenade. That would be very interesting to see an anti-gravity grenade, especially if we see more Horizons in play. What's interesting compared to other tournaments already is the variety of legends that I'm seeing in play. Not to say it doesn't lower or make anything less interesting for prior tournaments whatsoever, but it is exciting to see some versatility in terms of legends. This round is taking a little bit longer. Should get going in just a second. Listening from my drive from Georgia. You know, my fiance is from Georgia. So shout out to the peeps who are watching late at night from Georgia. All right, starting in 7 seconds. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. I'm gonna follow FK right at the start. We saw some disrespect occurring right at the very beginning of the round, and I'm curious if we're going to see another level of 50-50 going on. Shout out to Thailand. Hey, yo, Tennessee. That's where I'm shoutcasting from, so it's good to have you here. All right, so let's pause that music. Everyone is choosing their legends. Let us see if there's any difference of what people are going to pick. I think everyone's going to stick to their guns. It looks like the caustic is working. I am going to love if I see T1 make some big plays here. Overall, I'm really, really curious. So this was the comp that we were seeing before. Unfortunately, it looks like CCC had a bit of issues getting another person in. They should be okay once they all connect. We're seeing a lot of Horizons. Looks like we have 4 Horizons in play. We got Caustics out the wazoo. We do have 1 Pathfinder. I'm curious if they're going to change that up in terms of this overall comp. We see way less Gibraltars, and we have some Cryptos. So a lot of versatility, a lot of interesting compositions. So what's occurring right now is that everyone is picking their legends and getting ready to hop on in. And here we go. Let's take a look at FK. I'm going to follow them. We don't see a whole lot of changes in terms of comp. Still very caustic dominant, which is expected. I'm going to follow the Gibraltar on FK's team. They were 50-50 off the rip on Fragment. Let's see if they get that high level of disrespect here. You jump into the little beam, you get to get 10 plus 10 points. Looks like they didn't want their 10 points, huh? Let's follow this nice and close. Let's see if we get a little bit of level of disrespect here. Everyone is always happy when you get that level of disrespect. So, pretty exciting. Looks like we're going to see some action here, potentially. FK looks like they already got a blue armor. I'm going to watch the Wraith. Ooh, already got a purple. The Wraith is going to be feeling very spicy here. Do we hear them in the building here? Yes, we do. They're rotating out. They say, you know what? We only got 1 armor. Is this worth it? Wonder what the armors the other team got. I believe it was Unite who's contesting him. No, actually it's not. Let's go right back to FK. Unite decided to go to another area. They are contested here right at the rip. We're going to see some potential action here if this team decides to push them. Gibraltar gets some blue, got a purple. Not bad weapons off the rip. If I were a betting man, I wouldn't complain about having a R301 and a Volt. Just so you guys know, there is some lag that occurs at the start of the round. That's only natural. Don't freak out. It will dissipate probably about a minute in, but we always do get a little bit of lag at the overall start. It's mostly because I am shoutcasting this. I am in the servers. There is a 5-minute delay, and we are watching them live as they're all competing right now. T1 is obviously landing lava fissure still. Let's take a look at SG. See how they're doing. It looks like they're taking no name. They're probably going to pinch this. They see where the zone is. They're feeling pretty comfortable. That's not half bad. Let's take a look at ORT. Or excuse me. Yep, Ortfang. See how they're doing. Fortunately, they get knocked. And they're going to rotate right out. So you're going to see a little bit of picks happening. It looks like he's just really camping it, waiting. He's hoping he doesn't get caught out. Feels the tension here. It's like a horror film. And he gets shot. Very unfortunate. We got Freddy, Jason, and you know, all of them showing up. And we have the poor innocent soul just get caught out. Happens. SG's rotating. They are feeling very comfortable. I highly doubt if they get into any sort of fight here. They're most likely not going to. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. If you have this type of positioning like SG has, they would prefer to hold it. I would hold it. Anybody would hold it. There's no reason to go out. They had a pretty stellar game before. They want some placement. They want to catch teams out. And they're just going to sit and feel comfortable. Let's take a look at T1. They have some ways to go. They're getting some hefty armor here. Feeling pretty comfortable. T1, the fact that they're taking trials and claiming this dominance, most teams would not take trials just because it makes a lot of noise. But they are looking at Skyhook and they say, we're so dominant that we're not even afraid of anybody who's going to take us. Nobody's going to contest us right off the rip. Looks like they're just taking their time. And teams are all going to rotate in. We didn't get the 50-50. SG before, or FK before, said the 50-50 is not worth it. We mopped you up before, but we're not going to sit here and play numbers games with you. And look at that Gibby heirloom. Feeling pretty spicy with that today. They hear the shots. They have to know that the Geyser team is going to rotate here. So they're pressing their luck by getting a bit more loot, but at least they're feeling pretty comfortable. They're just going to have to wait for the over rotation to see who comes this way. They hear there's a trap. Pops his Q back. I wonder if that's a bit of panic, if that was intentional, but he definitely queued back. Probably just wants to take more of the lead over here. But if he happens to run into a team here, he doesn't have a Q. There's two teams and closing in on them. If they fight this, they may get hard gated out. This team is going to come up from behind. They're taking height, taking an off angle here. Play this smart. There's the scan. There is their jump and their surprise. They scan back out and they say, you know what, we know where you're at as well. Some initial shots. The Wraith is taking an off angle here, waiting to see if they're going to pressure up. This team is really struggling, trying to figure out what they want to do. And it looks like they're actually just going to say, you know what, it's not worth. I'm going to back up. Let's take a look at SG. SG has some good positioning. Let's take a look at T1. T1 still got a far way to go. Let's take a look at FK. We got some fighting going on. Let's take a look at CR in just a hot second. Detonator's fighting right in Fragment. Detonator started off at a whole different part of the map, so they rotated quite quickly over here. This is already rough, but they do have a gold armor, which is quite nice. He's going to use his shield just to buy himself some time. Gets a scan out. Let's see if he can get some solid damage. Takes the port back. Some solid plays. All they're going to do is wait patiently. They're really not going to end this. There's a lot of people in this vicinity. This doesn't really warrant wanting to go full on in. All they're trying to do is just recover and hold their angle. Once the caustic, there you go, gets their traps out, they're going to feel a little bit more spicy. Then they can say, you know what, let's get right back into it. So Detonator did recover that. Do have quite a few hostiles. Let's see if Detonator decides to... Oh, they're rotating out. Wise move and trying to get further into zone. They don't necessarily want to fight. There's still 20 teams going out right now. Losing, having no points to your name is not worth it. You want to at least get minimum, you know, whenever you say, okay, I'm going to take a fight. At least a 15 place. If we lose the fight, at least we got something. At least you have some points, and that's really what you're looking for. So yeah, GTS does have crypto. Looks like they sneak up on him. Glad we kept our eyes over on Detonator. Detonator's making already an interesting play here. Catches him out. Solid PK shot. PK, massive shot. What season am I in on Apex? It's in the middle of the night. Gets a solid knock there on the Port Gibraltar. Some solid damage. Looks like it was a no-reg, unfortunately. The crypto gets knocked, and he's trying to port him out into safety, but it's too late, and the port looks like it was mid-air. Very unfortunate for their team. Let's see where the Wraith is, and she's running for her dear life. Just praying and says, you know, I have a kunai knife. Life just isn't really that great right now. Let's take a look back at SG, because they're the ones fighting up for the high ground over here. Doubt they're going to fight. They're just going to hold their ground. Feel pretty comfortable. Just chill. Just have some positive vibes. First time here. Second time here. Third time here. There's a lot of fighting going on, but they have the high ground. So they're sitting pretty comfortable. They have no reason to really push on this. As long as teams catch them out, they're going to be okay. They know that there's a million teams all around, and we take a look at the map. Look at that. A lot of teams around. Ooh, nice solid 552 damage in. This is why the Volt is so popular. Even from a distance, get some solid damage. Just so you guys know, you actually don't get headshot damage after a certain amount of range with the Volt, which is why the R99 can be a little bit spicier. SG is holding some dominance here. They know there's a lot of teams around, and they're taking height, and they say, this is our land, this is our spot. Target spotted there. So SG's in a pretty interesting situation here. They could try to nade them out, which they're going to. They could, right when we say it, commentators curse, right? They could potentially push this, and that's what I was going to say, if they're going to be ballsy enough to knock him out and push. They're taking off angles. They got him sandwiched in here. Wonder if he's got any more nades to make a play. And there is a crypto ult from a whole different team that makes them feel pretty uncomfortable. Or it's from their team. No, it's actually from their team. I misspoken. My apologies. That's to scare them off. Unfortunately, the crypto ult is just not enough to scare them off, but it is buying them some time. So unless SG can make a play in the next 30 seconds, I guarantee you they're going to back off. And even less than 30 seconds, you know what they said? Just as we called it, there's no way that they would stay and fight that. Any longer than 30 seconds, 20 seconds of fighting, you know that another team is listening and it's not worth it. We still have 20 teams alive currently. A lot of rats starting to be developed. It's like New York City. Spent a decade in New York City, seen a lot of rats. Seen a lot of them in Apex Legends as well. Let's take a look at T1 and see the rotation as the zone is closing, because I know they had a hard angle here, and they still do, unfortunately. They're still making their way in, making their way downtown, going fast. Let's take a look at FK. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go back to T1. Is anybody fighting there? No, they're not. They had to have noticed that there was a team. Oh, I saw from the corner of my eye. I wonder and they did not notice them. This is the crazy part of why it's so interesting seeing plays like this, is that sometimes there are things that we see, but there are things that they did not see. So we saw at the corner of our eye that they were in, obviously, the tunnel, but they didn't see it. So if they get into a fight here, this can put them in a pretty rough predicament. As you can tell from the scoreboard briefly, not a lot of kills are gone out. Everyone is just trying to find their positioning, get on in. Looks like we got, let's take a look here. Catching teams out in rotation. Solid G7 shots from CR here. I know this is also has been a fan favorite for most, is taking a look at a CR. I've seen Sully really do pretty well, especially in prior tournaments. Kind of curious if he's going to keep up the consistency as well. Let's take a look at Sully as he's rolling in as a Horizon, taking some off angles here. Solid hemlock shots. Solid 50 damage, not too bad. Just enough on blue armor, about to get the crack. Going for some swaps, taking a look at the gear here. Switching to an EVA 8.
We should go here.
EVA 8 seems to be quite popular today. If it were me, I'd definitely want to pick up a Mastiff. But, you know, PK is a pretty solid second choice, second option. This is not a bad spot to hold when they know there's a lot of teams around them. But what they're going to do is kind of rotate out. They're getting shot at many different angles. Horizon definitely has that extra little mobility, extra bit of movement to feel quite comfortable. See if Horizon throws her Q up to get a different angle, or if she's just going to hold the Q for a little later. Hear a lot of shots going on. Let's take a look at SG. A lot of shots happening. A lot of teams getting to some action. FK's playing it safe as well. Everyone's playing it safe. Let's take a look at Team Unite. Team Unite hanging tight up on the north side. Let's just take a look at every team. Northception. Looks like they're on the north side as well. Nobody's getting any knocks right now. There's a lot of fighting going on. A lot of fighting at many different angles here. But it is getting pretty tough to see. We're going to end up missing some action here, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, because there's a lot of fighting occurring, and I'm going to keep an eye on north here now that we hopped in. Some solid Gibraltar damage here. They're trying to hard gate them out, and there's another Gibby ult. Guaranteed they jump down below, taking a different angle. And we still have 20 teams, 54 players alive. Surprised that Caustic is still sitting there, to be honest. Probably doesn't have many options of where to go. He's probably afraid to jump down, afraid of the teams that are down below. That is the third Gibraltar ult going out. We're going to hold here, and we'll take a look in a moment. I don't want to miss this. I feel like there's going to be a play here. I could be wrong. There's about... How many teams do we see here? About 3 teams. One is in the zone, still chilling across the way. They can definitely take zone damage. Let's take a look at... Or that's definitely just a rat. That's the first one out. They got knocked pretty early in the round, so definitely just a rat that just got cut out, unfortunately. Looks like they're making some jumps in. And they're finally rotating. So they're not going to get into any action. They're going to rotate to zone. Let's take a look at other teams. Let's take a look at Fennel, see how they're doing. They're taking some zone damage on the outside. Let's take a look at FK. They're finally taking the zip up, rotating out, seeing if they want to take a different angle. Let's take a look at 1864. 1864 has a rough angle here. They're down 1 and they're just holding. They're just going to heal and play it safe. A lot of teams, their goal right now is to really not fight. The zone has 1 minute and they all need to rotate. Let's take a look at T1 and see how they're handling their rotation. They're feeling pretty comfortable. Looks like they managed to get all the way around here. They're holding a lot of land, a lot of area. Fortunately, there's a lot of open space, open areas. They're pinging. Let's hold with T1 here, and we'll switch back to Crazy Raccoon and see how they're going to rotate around. All right, let's take a look at them. Switch back. They're going to have to make a play here. Solid damage with a Hemlock. Nice crack. He's going to make a play on that. He's going to throw himself up with his Q. Called it right before he did it. I would too. There's his ult. He's going to throw his nades. Very nice nade. Initially took very minimal damage. It was very nice. It's nice to see the Horizon make some big plays. He's going to throw his bat. Is he going to come up and help his teammate? He's going to take a little bit of the long play here. Let's see how he makes an angle. Tries to get right out of it. Just misses it, unfortunately, from the Crypto. Makes a play up. He's a little late to the fight. Honestly, what I probably would have done if I was this Horizon is I would have used my port to get the angle up. I felt like he might have been out of the fight too long, but he made some really strong entry-level damage, and he made the right play by going up. And unfortunately, goes into a 1v1, and just not enough because there's too many teams at too many different angles, and they go right out. Let's take a look at SG. And SG is getting into a firefight. Lots of fights happening all at once. He throws the Caustic ult, buy himself a little time. Unfortunately, not enough, and it goes right down. Let's take a look here at Detonator and see how they're doing on their rotation. They're pretty close by. There's a lot of teams in this area. And they're going to hard hold. They got the Crypto Drone going out. Here, underway. Looks like he's getting his a res off, which is pretty sick to see, especially at this high level play going off. But it may not be enough because it called a lot of awareness to where they're at. Be very shocked if this Caustic can get down and do enough in time. Fortunately, there's a million teams around and he gets knocked. Let's take a look at GST as they're popping off here in a second and how they're doing. GST. Oh, wrong team here. Sorry, apologies on that. Let's take a look at North. They're on the north side over here. No pun intended with that. Let's take a look at... We'll hold here with North and see how they're going to hard hold this angle. A lot of stuff happening. Let's go back to FKL. So it looks like one got knocked. They jumped down. So this is a beauty with the BR. This is where it gets pretty intense and pretty crazy, is where there's a lot of fighting going on. And we have to follow mostly the lead teams, such as FK, as well as SG, because they were the teams that popped off before. T1 is pretty comfortable right now with the most kills in the lobby for the most part. And we know they're going to get way more. Let's take a look at T1 and see what they're doing. They have the very predominant spot here. And they have all eyes of what's going on and what's happening. They were the team that brought it home last round, and I want to keep an eye on them. And there's a second res from that overall area. We know that FK is not going to make a big play. Fennel has one that's actually respawning, so that's actually where the respawn was occurring. There is still a lot of teams around them, so they're not going to want to get into a fight. They're going to hope that they can recover some of their loot. So there's a loot. He's pinging. He's letting them know where stuff is at. They don't know the situation here. They're trying to catch some stuff out. That's what they're pinging. They're like, how many teams in this area? How many here? What is going on? They're catching out a team rotation. This is free points. Solid knock on GST. Gets a scan. They think there's just one team. They just finally figured out there's another team on the right side, which they know is actually well, they don't know, but we know it is SG. They're going to hard hold here. They're looking for information, and they have to rotate out. They can't get too greedy. They got 2 gold armors. When we speak of greedy, that's not too bad in terms of making overall rotation, overall play.
Body shield here. Level 4.
I'm drinking water, and they get a 3rd gold. The Wraith doesn't go back for it, though. I understand not enough time. Every second counts. As maybe Chad does not understand, but every second counts in terms of making a rotation and making a play, especially when we're looking at this zone. T1 is making some big plays up on height. Let's take a look and switch to their point of view, because they hold a lot of the area back from both FK as well as T1. They're making some big plays here. They have an angle. They see everyone is caught out. And that's not good for their Caustic, though. Caustic gets knocked. That's not the situation they want to be in. There's no way that they would make a play on it, though. That team, of course, FK, unfortunately, got knocked out. Let's keep an eye to see if T1 can clutch this out and make a big play. She throws her Q over. Big brain on that. Doesn't use it for herself. Uses it for her teammate as an alternative and gets some mobility. T1, also the Caustic, gets knocked again, unfortunately. So she bakes support and says, let's play something a little safer here and see how we can go from there. Fortunately, he does get finished. Puts T1 in a pretty unfortunate situation. Look, there is definitely the respawn beacon already coming out. He can loot. They got 30 seconds. This may not be enough time for the whole animation to get off. We know it takes about roughly 20 to 30 seconds just to get off a full res, so he has to be extremely fast on getting this off. This is big brain. We've seen these beacons come in massive play here for this tournament. Getting another res definitely puts more points in play and puts a lot of pressure. This is going to be very tight. We're going to look at Caustic and see how fast he can loot, because he's going to feel the pressure here in a second. We see height as he drops. Let's look at his POV. He's definitely feeling the pressure. He's got 3 seconds. Got to go right to his box and loot like a madman. He's going to be spamming 80, 80, 80. He's got probably 5 seconds. He got 5, 4, 3, 2. And if he spent the extra amount of time there, he would have been caught out right now. Good recovery. Good recovery. Didn't get too greedy on the box. Got exactly what he needed. Got in, got out. Pretty solid play. And it looks like they're rotating right on a team here. They're going to push up. Make a big brain play, hopefully. And they're not going to get too greedy, and they're going to hold this height. Very, very smart on their part, not getting too greedy. I know we're following them. They're actually playing this really smart. It's been pretty interesting seeing them use a respawn beacon. Not trying to play in terms of overall 2 favorites. Let's take a look at Reignite. Since T1 is kind of chilling. They're feeling the pressure. And you know what's interesting? T1 is not looking at them, and of course they can't because of the overall angle that they got. They're now taking the low ground. It's not this situation they want to be in. They drop down on them. They give up their height, and the enemy team definitely has to notice that they gave up height. The Wraith is just buying some time. Let's switch back over to T1 and see if what they're looking at from a distance. They see it. This is what we're talking about. Teams getting greedy. Can't get too greedy here. The Wraith is just going to rat. Gets a solid crack on the Gibraltar. The bubble buys them a little bit of time, but perhaps not enough, as they're probably going to need it for this next zone here in just a second. See the crypto drone going out. GST does get knocked out. We got 2 squads remaining. We got Team Unite. Let's take a Unite situation. They're pretty low on damage, and they're getting arced right now. They're holding, and ooh, there goes the damage. That's scary. That's got to sting. All they have to do is pray and hope that the other teams do fight. GST making some big plays here, holding, buying some time against T1. T1 making a play here. There's the Horizon ult. Hello. Does finish it off. And now they're reset. Gets a Horizon play, takes height, solid damage on the Caustic, almost knocks him, very big play, nice Q. The Gibraltar does go down though, unfortunately. Unite, let's see their situation, see how much they recovered. They see everything that's going on, they're taking a long time to heal, they probably don't have big heals currently out. Let's take a look at GST. They're holding height and waiting, there's a Caustic ult, just not enough to throw it. Could probably use some little bit of practice in baseball, you know. The Caustic kind of lost his arm, just kind of missed the ult there a little bit, right? Here's the res, but the other teams are trying not to get greedy, and everyone is just doing a hard reset here. Trying to drop the med kits, trying to buy everyone a little bit of time. Everyone at this point is reset, and the zone is going to be closing. That's where it gets intense. Let's see how GT... Oh, Unite is getting picked on. Throws up the Q to see if he can get anybody to pop off. I like the tactics we're seeing here with Horizon. I like seeing it. And there's the Horizon ult. Let's see if this goes in their favor or against it, because this is going to be pretty bad if it goes against what they're trying to do. They're trying to play it patiently. They're trying not to get greedy, but they're getting shot at different angles. If this Horizon waits, she takes height and heals. She's trying to take her moment out of the situation, switches over to the other Horizon. Q takes an off angle here, but it's probably not enough. Let's see if she can clutch out a 1v3. Unfortunately, does not. Pretty intense plays. And we see T1 making another win. They're showing up to play today. Excited to see the Horizon play. Honestly, the fact that he was smart enough just to bounce from one of those to the other and buy himself a little time, his team did get a little greedy. If they waited, they got hit on the crossfire, and they should have calmed just to wait a little bit more patiently, and they definitely would have been more in the clear, but they unfortunately did not. This gives T1, let me tell you, we should follow them this next round. I guarantee they're going to be aping teams left and right at this point. When a team of this caliber gets hot, we see this breakdown. Whew, look at that. 4, 3, and 5. Very nice on T1. In prior tournaments, they've done well. They've kind of held their own. I've seen Crazy Raccoon do a lot stronger, and I've seen FK do a lot stronger as well. And they are putting up quite a bit of a performance. But we're really seeing T1 make a big play for today. If they keep it at this rate, I mean, who's going to catch him, right? Who's going to catch him at this rate? All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's switch now as we're switching over to round 3. Solid game, solid performance across the board. It's good to see. Good to see, ladies and gentlemen. All right, game 3. Halfway there once we get into this next one. Don't forget, if you're enjoying the stream, don't forget to leave a like. That helps people find the stream. If you're enjoying the commentary, be sure to leave a comment. Let's catch up with chat, and let's hear your feedback of who you want me to follow in this next round. I will admit, I'm going to be following the teams that are popping off and really succeeding, which happens to be currently T1, who's clearly in first place right now, by leading by a pretty strong landslide. Let's see if that confidence gets to them, and let's see if they manage to crumble by just getting too overzealous. Because honestly, they can throw the next 4 rounds and then end up in a solid 5th place. We'll have to see. Teams are not changing their compositions. Let's catch up with chat. Let's see how everyone is feeling. How is everyone feeling about the tournament so far? Are you happy about your teams? Can't find the tournament vid. Oh yeah, this is the tournament. Yeah, of course, we're here. Let's see here. There is going to be more Season 8 content, just as an FYI for those that are watching. If you are watching and happen to have seen the guide on the 3030 repeater, that there is going to be another guide coming out today for Fuse. Very excited about that. Bro, it's so late. Definitely is. It's what time is it right now? It's 5:12. We're giving you the commentary here. It's 5:12 in the morning. I am definitely tired, but still enjoying what I'm doing. That's good, better than a lot of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I try to keep a good balance. Always working on it. Always trying to do better, and we'll continue to learn. This is technically my 3rd time going around with this type of thing. I really have a lot of fun with it. Hopefully I'm able to teach, give a lot of insight, help everyone improve, get some insight and detailed analysis on what competitive looks like. All right, let me see if I can hop into round 3. I'm going to give you guys the breakdown in terms of the scores as well. Okay, hop in. It's really cool to see the Horizon in play. I've been wanting to see it, and I have told many people, literally I have said this when Horizon first came out. I said she's going to be meta. Just wait for people to feel very comfortable with the game, and she will be meta. People didn't believe me. People did not believe me, and we're seeing her make a play now in this current tournament, which is pretty exciting to see. Okay. We are in. They're labeling the lobby. We should begin here in about 5 minutes. We got a lot of large, big-name teams, and we have a lot of underdog teams in for today. Let's take a look at the scores. The reminder on the scores, I'm going to label the top 3 teams. T1, we called GTS, GST so many times. I'm going full dyslexic here, Zesty. Going full on dyslexic, why not? You can call me Zads. I don't know. Done with the jokes. I guess, you know, that's why I'm not a stand-up comedian. Unless my commentary is pretty funny, then I guess I'll roll with it. I won't quit my day job, I promise. So first place, T1 with 47 points. Second place, Vanel Korea at 25 points. Third place is currently Reignite at 19 points. And I'm going to say it right this time, GTS at 17 points. And of course, SG at 5th place with 15 points. So you see, T1 really making a standout performance here with the fact that they recovered and utilized that respawn beacon to their advantage and recovered and got their loot, did not get greedy, made the right plays. They sat in the center and they didn't push anything and they waited for teams to come to them. So big on them for making some big plays. Curious how this next round's going to go out. And what's interesting is how T1 has the hardest rotation to get in based on these 2 zones. Last game, on the south side of the map, they had to go from one edge all the way down to the bottom, and they even went from pretty much all the way from the left side all the way to the right side. So it's impressive that they're making such strong rotations and they're playing it smart. So it's fantastic to see, it's smart to see, and it's very exciting. So again, teams are all populating in. We'll see if they start faster this go around. Overall, pretty excited. Good stuff. Don't forget, guys, leave a like if you're enjoying the commentary. Look at T1 next time. 100% will do, Steve. The teams that we're keeping an eye on right now is T1, FK, SG. I'm going to keep an eye on Reignite. I didn't keep an eye on them last round as much, but they started to pop off, and GTS is doing quite well as well. I'm curious how that's going to shape up. As a reminder for teams that are overall scoring, T1 currently 47 points, FK 25, Reignited 19, GTS 17, SG at 15. So pretty good. Shout out to everyone in chat. Tyler, good to have you here. Hamza, good to have you. Ultron, thank you guys so much for being here. So just as a reminder, there is a 5-minute delay, so I apologize if it doesn't seem like I'm as interactive. I'm doing my best. The reason why there's obviously is a 5-minute delay is because it keeps the competitive integrity. I am watching this live as they're playing. At the start of the rounds, I am going to experience a little bit of lag. I've noticed that always happens. It's mostly because of my where I'm pretty much at in the world. But it looks like after about 2 minutes into the round, the lag does iron out, and then the round is good. So it is good. So very exciting. I am again shoutcasting this myself. If you're just tuning in, this is APAC North for the Winter Circuit. So great way to see it all starting off and heading off with a bang. Have a great night. Morgan Freeman, good to have you here. Very exciting. We going for a whole nother round. Game 3. All right. So what's going to be interesting is as teams, like T1 may play more aggressively this next round. They have a lot of points. They can get aggro. They could go run out and have a lot of fun. Because, I mean, they have the points. The question is, will they do it or will they play smart? Realistically, what they need to do is play smarter in their situation. Don't get too greedy. Don't get knocked out early, because if they do, it won't look too good for them. We'll watch. Fnel Korea, or FK, aka FK, has been contested off the rip, and they've been kind of trying to balance things out a little bit. They're going to continue to figure things out and be an overall better situation. But Fragment has been pretty hot. So far. So we're going to keep a close eye on Fragment. SG was popping off at the start. They were playing pretty hot. It's just a matter if they can keep up their momentum. And Crazy Raccoon, I know they have potential, and so does Detonator. I've seen them play well, and I want to see some of these underdogs really take it away. It's just that other teams are very, very dominant currently in the space. I wonder if certain teams that are playing crypto are not going to play crypto, because we're noticing that while crypto is extremely effective, that one team, when they got hit, they just didn't care. So we'll need to see if teams are going to change that up, if they're going to pull out the Horizon, if they're going to pull out the Gibraltar to make some stronger plays. What country is this APAC? It is Asia. How do you spectate? EA has provided me access to spectate the players and create my commentary for you guys. And kind of get everything going together here, and which is why we're commentating here pretty much in the middle of the night. But yeah. You definitely need an admin from EA to allow you access, to give you codes, and to go in as the observer, which is what I'm doing. And you see my name over on the top left there. And then we'll kind of get back in. I was actually hoping for another legend for Season 8, but still hyped for Season 8. Oh, outside of... yeah, I'll follow T1. Don't worry, Steve. Don't worry, I got it. When is the next game? We're about to begin here in just a second. Let me take a look at the Discord. They have me in a Discord, and I'm taking a... keeping close eye on it best I can. Give me a second here. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, I'm just taking a look at the Discord, seeing when they're going to begin. We're going to begin here in just a second. Be sure to grab yourself a coffee, a snack, something to drink, as we're going in hot into game and match 3. So the scoring currently overall is that we have T1 taking a market strong lead at 47, FK at 25 points, Reignite at 19. Those are our top 3 teams currently. Somebody had a question, so is Olympus never going to make an ALGS? World's Edge is a great map, but gets old to watch very quickly. I think the issue is that I think that Olympus just needs a little bit of changes and a little bit of love in terms of making it a little bit more competitive. I think it's got a lot of potential, though. I really enjoy the map. Really, really do. Okay. Everyone looks like they're assigned on their roles. Should get a countdown timer here in a second. Commentators are saying that scores are updated. It's been a little bit past the 5-minute mark. We're just hanging tight and waiting until it just starts. There we go. All right. Next round, game 3. They're going fast, ladies and gentlemen. We'll keep a close eye on T1, I promise. I know how you guys are feeling, keeping an eye on the top team, knowing that they're placing first place right now. So let's take a look real quick. This was the prior selection that we saw in terms of legend breakdown. Let's see if we have any changes. Let's see if there's any changes. We did see still the same number of cryptos in play. Very caustic heavy, which nobody's shocked about in terms of the level of caustics. And of course, you're wondering why we're sitting at the screen is that everyone is selecting their legends. So everyone picks their legends, and because I'm spectating and I get to choose where we get to go. One thing that you probably will see from most commentators is that they commentate and they let somebody else drive. I am driving while commentating. So I'm doing a little bit of all hands on deck. So I'm definitely juggling and going back and forth and back around, all around, give you guys the best experience possible. The issue that we're going to see is sometimes I may miss a fight occasionally. It is a BR. Sometimes there are multiple fights happening all at once. We will keep an eye on stuff that's going on. Okay, let's take a look at T1. Let's see. I'm going to turn down that music. Let's focus up. I'll turn up the volume just a little bit so you guys can hear the round a little bit better. Okay. So T1 is still taking their same spot. They're probably going to split trials just as they did before. I don't think anybody's going to contest him like they did before, though. Yeah, so they're taking a big split. The Wraith is kind of going off on her own, and the Caustic seems to be taking his angle over by Lava Fissure. If teams are aware that T1 is taking this area, the Wraith is going to have to be very, very careful here and just not get caught out. Not get too greedy. You can already hear the team's already fighting, and she's going to make her way over. So what T1 has been doing, and also there is a fight potentially over a fragment, so she's going over. Notice how they have been getting into some pretty early fights here, as you can tell. Here it is, and this is a 50-50 we saw before, and it's already happening again. Solid frag and fry. He gets a knock, switches to the wingman. We'll go back to T1 in just a second, but this happened last time. This happened last time, and solid tracking. Getting a fry with the alternator. And this is claiming the dominance that we're all looking for. Gets knocked, unfortunately. Swaps to gold armor. They have to clutch this out. Once they get this horizon down, this is going to be a good play in terms of armor situation that they need. They're trying not to get greedy. They're trying to catch him out. And there it is. Very, very nice on their part. That's unfortunate, man. That's the 50-50 that we're seeing right off the rip, and they capitalize on it. They now have a gold armor. They got a blue, and they have this area for themselves to loot. So very nice. Let's take a look at T1 in the rotation, because I know you guys were talking about wanting to see more of them. There is a bit of lag that occurs at the start of the round. I apologize that that does happen. It just happens just because of the region where I'm at in the world and the fact that we're shoutcasting APAC North. So we're seeing here, obviously they're taking their time. They got their loot. I wonder if they're going to take their time to do trials and where that's at. FK obviously getting some early points here as well. Getting pretty comfortable. Let's take a look at the map. Let's see where teams are at. Everyone right now is just taking their time looting. We see Lava City may have a potential... Nope, not a fight. They're actually rotating in from Geyser. Everything's looking pretty solid. T1 is just... This is their loot pattern. They seem to split Lava Fissure, one on the south side, one on the north side, and they kind of meet towards the center and loot. And one person usually takes trials or tries to take Skyhook and make their route over. So, pretty positive rotation, maximizing the loot. They got 3 blues at the moment. And if they take trials, they could get an extra bit of loot, but they only got 54 seconds, so they would end up spending quite a bit of time in zone if they decided to do that. So everyone is playing pretty respectfully as a start here. They're not going to go for trials. They don't necessarily have the time. This is they have not had any luck with the zone pulling towards them. And actually, no, they're going for trials. They're actually going for it. It's proved well for them before. They get some pretty solid loot. Teams don't seem to be bothering them, and they know they have a trek in. And T1 is really capitalizing on trials. Usually what you normally see in terms of teams is that they'll fight anybody who pushes trials, but T1 has definitely claimed their dominance here.
Let's go this way.
Let's take a look at GTS. They're rotating from Lava City. There's going to be no fighting. Oh, it looks like we may have a fight breaking out here. If I can get a bead on who that is. It's not them. They're rotating, but it looks like they're chasing right behind them. Wish I had intel on which team that might be. Let's take a look at 1964. It's not them, but they are into a firefight on the north side of the map. Looks like they're not going to fight. Looks like everyone is just kind of doing their pokes. They are being chased. Let's take a look and let's flank around until we can figure out what team that is.
Here. Close range.
Some early fighting here by CCC. I just want to see what team is chasing them out in the open here. It looks like they stopped chasing him, unfortunately. I just want to kind of get a handle. I apologize for switching around so much here. I just want to figure out what team is landing there consistently so I have a good eye and we figure out where we're going from there. Not Detonator. Detonator is rotating over on the south side. Take a look at this team. It is not them. Take a look at this Jupiter. It's Jupiter. Jupiter is the one rotating over at this angle. Apologize for switching around so much. Thank you for being patient with me. The only downside, if I had feedback, I would love to see the names or a large logo on their team. It would help me get an idea of who that is. And again, I'm commentating also while driving, so it can be a little hectic. It can be a little hectic, but that's okay. T1 is taking their time in trials. There's no other fighting going on. They're taking their time. They got a gold armor, and they got 2 purples. And they got the mobile respawn beacon, which proved to work quite well for them last round. Let's take a look at SG and see how they're doing. They're perched up. They're probably not going to move from this location whatsoever. They have a beacon right behind them. They know there's another team from close by. But they're going to sit pretty comfortable, and they're not going to fight. Even if another team got a knock on them, I highly doubt they would really do much of anything to make a play here. So again, I want to give a shout out while we have a moment to breathe to all of you guys who are being in chat. There is a 5-minute delay, so I apologize if I'm not getting to everything in chat. I appreciate everyone who is typing, asking questions. No, I'll do my best in between rounds here as we're commentating to catch up with you guys in chat and give everyone a little bit of time. SG's catching some teams out in position. They're holding a pretty strong angle here. The interesting part is if you have a Bloodhound, that not having a Gibraltar means that you cannot get a free scan. What do I mean when I say that? So notice the beacons over on the right there. If you had a Gibraltar, technically you can throw the bubble down and get a scan without having to worry about getting shot. In this situation, they can't unfortunately get that beacon scan off, so they're going to have to just play mostly on the luck and hope that this happens. The teams that are out of position right now are T1, rotating very late, and SG and all these teams are just kind of perched up, hanging tight, sitting comfortably and waiting for their optimal situation, essentially. So pretty exciting stuff. We got a target spotted. They're all hanging tight. Let's take a look at T1. T1's taking damage, but they got a gold armor. I'm feeling uncomfortable there. They're sitting pretty good. Jupiter has fragment. They're pretty close to a team. Oh, actually perfect timing here. I knew Jupiter was in fragment, but it looks like they're breaching a building. They have the top area. That was a thermite. Get some pick damage. Instant red, or blue. Colorblind today, apparently. He's got to be careful. His teammates can make a push in. Looks like the caustic barrels are stopping them from making a massive push. There's the caustic ult. Caustic is making a push in. Slice to back up, and they're just waiting for their situation, their moment. Pings the Arc Star. The team is still in the low area. They're trying to take unnecessary damage right now, but they're trying to catch him out with some nades. Gibraltar throws a nade in. Let's take a look at the Caustic because he's the one who gets the visual. He's the one that can make a play here. Breathe in that gas. Makes a play, pushes down, catches this Caustic out of position, but gets fried himself and goes down. Very unfortunate from their situation. The Wraith is trying to make a flank. His teammates are probably screaming for him to get out, get out, get out. He holds, misses his R90 spray, only gets about 19 damage in, and he's going to Q away. Takes height. They've pretty much, unfortunately, lost this encounter, lost this fight. The best thing they can do is really just rotate out. As you can tell, there is a lot of action here. Finishes the kill. He says, you know what, I'm just gonna, I gotta get away. It's just not worth it anymore. It's just not worth it. They've recovered. They're gonna steal their stuff, take their shoes, take their shirts, take their clothing. I need your boots, clothes, and your motorcycle. I'll never do the accent again, don't worry. T1's making the rotation in. T1 is going to end up running into this team over here. All these teams, while it looks like there's going to be a lot of action, they probably are not going to fight. There's too many teams in the area to realistically fight. I've said this many times. This happens a lot in the competitive teams. They're not going to fight. I promise you, it's just not going to happen. There's too much at stake, and there's too many third parties that if anybody did that, I'm guaranteed there would be a lot of upsets occurring. So you just won't see it. Don't worry. See T1 rotating in. I'm keeping an eye on them because they're going to run into these teams. Actually, you know what? They're playing it smart. They're not going to push through these buildings because there's a high probability that there's teams there, and they're playing it smart. They're going to take the rotation around and take height. Definitely what I would do in terms of our position. Let's take a look at SG. SG's getting into some gunfights here. They're picking on some teams. You see the Gibraltar bubble fight already occurring right out in the open. You see SG just picking on teams. Charge Rifle Charlie is probably the most frustrating thing to have to deal with, and knowing that you got a team from a distance picking on them could be very, very frustrating. But again, like I said, it will deter teams from fighting. There is no reason to fight at this stage of the game. All you're doing is you're hurting yourselves, and this, still you would make 18th or 17th place for what? A few points? Not worth it. I'd rather go for 15th and 10th place to garner those more points and catch some teams out of rotation. We see a lot of charge rifle damage. He doesn't have necessarily ammo to keep picking, so they either need to push a team here in a moment with the R99 to make a big play, or they need to just wait. Solid damage ticking. Ticking for purple. Got some intel there. Let's take a look at T1 and see how they're rotating in. They have height. They see that there's a team down below. How are they going to... Oh, unfortunately gets hit by the gas and makes their presence known. At that point, once you make your presence known, you might as well just push in. This team is aware, as they know that they heard those gas traps go out. Perfect timing. We get to see a nice little fight here. Nice little exchange. She's going to port out. Horizon takes height. Love seeing the Horizon plays. Let's see if they can maintain their consistency here. Nice strong damage. I saw 54 damage from a nade. Tries to get some G7. Is flush. Tries to no-scope it. Just gets some damage. It goes for the bat. Let's take a different POV. Different angle. Nice damage. 85 gets a crack. Holds his angle. Holds his position. And getting some cells off. He needs his team to help him out, which they are. What T1 is doing fantastic today is taking off angles and putting the pressure where it's needed. So they have the upper hand. The Horizon is flexing hard, takes height, rotates out, gets a nice angle, and they clutch it out here. T1 is showing up today, and it's pretty exciting to see. They're playing smart. They're taking alpha angles. They're not pushing in. They're not getting greedy. They're taking the fights they need to take. And there it is. Unfortunately, they didn't get the full team wipe. One of them definitely ran away. Let me look at the overall map here. One of them ran away. Oh, hold on. Got some angle here over on height. Unfortunately, not landing the shots, just not connecting. Solid attempts, solid tries, just trying to feel things out. Let's take a look at GTS. GTS is getting some picks from a distance here. Everyone is just doing the picking battle. Everyone is just picking on everybody. Let's go to GTS Black. Unfortunately, that's the team that's getting picked on. Big boy Caustic is going to get caught out by T1 or any other team. And he's getting aped. This is the end for our boy Caustic, or is it? Oh, and he had to reload. Unfortunate. The reload definitely pulls him out of position. Let's take a look at T1, as T1 is the hard team that's griefing from a distance. Let's take a look at Fennel. They're hard holding, playing it smart. And all they're going to do is recoup. And they realize that they only have 50 seconds for zone. So they can't get too greedy here with the loot, because otherwise you're going to have a heck of a rotation to get into. Let's take a look at SG and see how they're doing with their situation. Remember that their ammo situation is not looking too good. They really can't pick on teams. They have to wait for the right moment. Let's take a look at Crazy Raccoon, as they do have one down. And they have to rotate in. They are getting the... the res did not go off. He throws his Caustic Gas. Arc Stars it. He does not connect the Arc Star. And we got a poor Caustic boy all by himself, and he's going to push out and then, unfortunately, get knocked. Crazy Raccoon has not been having the performance that we've been hoping for today. And Detonator coming in clutch with some nice armor at this point. Gets that purple, makes some swaps. Let's take a look at T1. Let's see how they're holding up. T1 making some aggro plays. They are in the middle of nowhere. This is going to be a hard play for them. One is cracked. This could honestly mean the end for them if this other teams do catch them out of rotation. Realize where they have to go. They have limited options here. If they get knocked, this is not their fault. Well, I mean, it is their fault for rotating late. But this is honestly a really tough angle. They have to put some pressure, claim some dominance. This is where it's been impressive watching T1 from the tournament so far, is that they have been really smart and making the right plays. So the fact that they have so many different off angles, but they're finding the right groove and the right path to get in, just as you've seen here. You saw how many teams are all around their angles, and they're using the Horizon to their advantage. Nice verticality there, getting into the thick of it. Big play, big brain. This has been exciting to see the Horizon come to play. Unfortunately, one gets knocked, two are knocked. The Horizon has to clutch this out, has to make a play. Knocks another. Has to. Oh my God! What a clutch! What a... Oh, no. And then the tri-rifle. And we know that had to have been from SG. Was it? No, actually was not from SG. I was curious of who that was. Wow, that's definitely an upset. You clutch out the fight, and then you have a situation where you just get charge rifle from a distance. I guarantee his fist went right through the monitor, and I don't even know they're going to be able to play the next game, just out of how upsetting that's got to be. So let's take a look over at GTS and see how they're doing, as they're definitely the ones coming right behind this team. Gosh, that's definitely upsetting. They get some solid fries. Can we get some burgers with that? Maybe a milkshake while we're at it. Who knows? Crypto ult's coming in. Definitely some scouting happening. Gosh, I'm definitely upset with him. I definitely feel his pain. Get some solid G7 scout shots after clutching it out, making a big play, and then that happens. Not the end of the world. It means that they're still performing well. They still got a lot of points. It's just the unfortunate circumstance to see a team comes up behind GTS here. There's only 8 teams remaining. See, both the Gibby bubbles are out, which means that they may not have them for the right rotation when they need it here. There's the crypto ult. All the bubbles are about to go out. He checks down below, make sure that nobody's going to jump up on them. If he keeps holding here, he's going to get charge rifle Charlied out. Nobody's got to enjoy that. There's a Horizon taking height. She's getting lasered from every one of the grandmother from all distances, as expected. He's flicking back and forth, trying to get information, trying to get intel. They have a few seconds here to push in. The Horizon can make an opening. He's got his Gibraltar bubble here in 1 second, so it is up for rotation, so that's good. So they have a few options here. They could go down below, but it would take too long. They'll take too much damage. They can go left and push in, or they can go right and catch a team out. So they have to make an informed decision here and see what they're going to do. If it was me, I would go left. Even though there's Charge Rifle Charlie from a distance, maybe they can push out the team. Looks like that's what they're opting for. And they will probably, let's see if they do have a Horizon ult. They do not have their Wraith ultimate, unfortunately. And honestly, what they could do, if they could get a nice Horizon ult out in there, maybe they can make a push. Ooh, and they get stuck, unfortunately. Puts down the bubble to buy himself some time. This team may leave their little house. They may leave their house to fight. And they're pretty much hard gating him. We see SG still has their position from a distance over there, from up height. They don't know that's SG, but they do know they have to worry about the team right behind them. There's the Q. Honestly, probably did not need to use the Q. I think he's probably using for a bit of a bait. But now he won't have it for the rotation when he needs it. Looks like they're going to ape this house. They say, you know what, this might be free real estate. He's going to use the window here in the back, try to get to a different position. There's a Gibraltar ult. Gets him in the flank. Big damage. Gibraltar ult is out. They need to make a push through. They can't keep pushing them one at a time, though. There's 2 down. All they have to do is reset. Play patiently. Play patiently. Get your knocks. Get your points. He's using the finisher to try to bait him to come in. May not be the smartest play. They got to play patiently. They could have gotten the res there instead. Not sure if that was necessarily the play, but we'll find out. Recovers their points. Good play by GTS here. Not bad, not bad. We got 5 squads remaining. Who are we looking at? We got Warabi, we got SG. Let's take a look at SG, how they're doing. They're holding their spot. Like I said, they're struggling for ammo. There's a reason why they haven't been making massive plays necessarily, is that they are definitely struggling for ammo and they're holding tight. So we got also FK, who can definitely make a big play here. They're right underneath them. They have the Gibby ult. Let's see here. Yep, they do have the Gibby ult. They may use that for the rotation here to throw them to get them off top. That would be ideal. Let's take a look at SG since they do have the bird's eye view. They actually drop, which means that they're going to get into a gunfight here in a moment. And they do. They get hit from an off angle. Throws his caustic ult. He could possibly get the res. Definitely would be ballsy to do so. Gets his banner, swaps the armor, gets a little bit of damage taken. And they're just going to hard hold. Let's take a look at GTS and see how they're doing. They definitely have the upper hand here, potentially. Gets off a Phoenix kit. They're pinging where the other teams are, and they're holding tight. That's a strong arc. That's very unfortunate. That's not the arc star that they needed, but they do have the Gibby ult too. Gibby bubble, excuse me, Buy them a little bit of time. They're gonna play patient. They do have the bubble. Heal up. Wait. Play patient. Don't want to get too greedy. But that arc star, let me tell you, I don't know who that was who threw that, but that was definitely a sick arc. Probably from SG. Actually, not from SG. FK and SG are definitely getting to some fights here. Waiting to hear the footsteps. Getting a little intense. They're not going to drop down on them. Definitely wouldn't do it. Definitely doesn't make sense to drop down on them. But FK is trying to contemplate, do we go up top? What's the risk? We see the risk here. It's pretty high. They can just simply hold their angle and they'll be just fine. Get some initial damage. Nice, about 70 damage there. It's definitely got to be on GTS. Yep, it was. Everyone's waiting for the zone. Waiting for the zone to put some pressure. He's going to use a Gibraltar ult to definitely put some pressure. For those that are up top, gets it. Unfortunately gets cracked and the zone is closing. He does not have time to bat now. Or get some heals. He's going to drop something. Ooh, it's going to be pretty close. Going to be pretty close for this rotation here. We'll take a look at SG in just a hot second. Also, Korea here. Putting that portal to buy themselves some time. They're going to want to hard hold it. Is he going to go for a kidnap? Is he going to hard hold it? Go for the kidnap? That's what they're trying to decide right now.
Let's explore this way.
Even with the zone, there's a lot of angles. Nobody's been knocked so far. Waiting to hear footsteps.
They've laid traps.
There's the port, goes back down. Nobody in their right mind would take that. Just putting that out there. Gives him the helmet to try to get his port back. There's the zone. Has the port to go up and down. Let's take a look at the SG and see how they're doing. There's the port. There's the fight. There's the gas canisters. Definitely getting a little sweaty here. Gets pulled in. SG is a two-man squad with a team down below, and now we're looking at a 1v. Looking at 3 more teams remaining. Let's take a look at FK down below. This is definitely the pressure. They're feeling it. Last zone here. Just trying to get in. Just trying to survive. The Wraith is just buying time by going back and forth, back and forth. And there it is. Looking for a team is the champion. Pretty strong performance across the board there. Looking for a team did get some strong points. It's going to shoot him up in the leaderboard. Probably put him up in the top 5, guaranteed. T1 unfortunately got knocked early. Very big upset in the fact that they got lasered from a distance. So we'll see how things will continue to shape up, and we'll look at the scoreboard once it's updated. That is game 3. I'm going to update this here, and we're going to move on to game 4. Whew, man, there was some upsets there that round. That was some good stuff. A lot of fun. We'll look at the scoreboard once they manage to get everything all situated and all put up there. Again, don't forget to leave a like if you're enjoying what you see. Pretty exciting stuff. We're seeing a lot of Caustics in play. We're not seeing the stereotypical Wraith, Gibraltar, and Caustic. Again, just as a reminder for those that are watching, this is APAC North that we're watching. It is in the middle of the night for me. Happens to be 5:47 in the morning. So wherever you're at in the world, thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to have another round here. Game 4. In just a minute, we're going to discuss the scores and we're going to talk about them in just a hot second. Let me get the second code up. Game 4. Very exciting. Once I get the go-ahead of what the scores are looking like, I'll give you guys the update. So, I love seeing the high IQ plays from the Horizons that we're seeing thus far. We're seeing the consistent Caustic still in play. Not seeing a branch out from it, ladies and gentlemen. We are seeing people dedicated to the Caustics. There is no Watsons that we're seeing come out. No Watsons whatsoever. No Caustic and Rev meta. I'm actually shocked by that as well. Let's give a shout out to everyone in chat. I'm going to go through chat I will continue to follow T1. If there is a team of somebody you would like for me to follow at the start of the round, let me know, and we'll talk about it. So as we're in between rounds, don't forget to grab yourself a coffee. I have lots of water in front of me. Don't forget to grab yourself a coffee. For those that are in chat, Wad Stalker, Jag, Oscar, Husky, appreciate you, Benjamin. For those that are asking, high or low sensitivity, I got a lot of guides here on the channel. Definitely recommend checking them out to help you out. Give a shout out for Crazy, JM, Kiwi, thank you so much for being here. Benjamin, using Aim Labs, love to hear it. Excited for Fuse. If you are watching, later on today, we're going to be releasing a guide on Fuse. So very, very exciting. I'm excited to share that. It'll be coming out later today, so be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, because I had the 3030 repeater posted. We're going to go in depth in that video. I go super in depth about the pros and cons of Fuse. So I'm really excited for you guys to see that. So again, this is on a 5-minute delay, which is why I'm catching up with everyone. Do you think it'll help with searching which team is in combat? I would love for that. I would love if they added. I'm all the way from Southeast Asia, so tournaments, not much here. Benjamin, it's great to have you here. Great to have you. Thank you so much for tuning into the stream. Let me make sure I hop into the match. Here we go. Don't want to forget. Don't want to get left out. 2:16. You're going to head out, Kiwi. No worries, man. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. How about SG? SG is doing pretty well. I'm going to look at the scores in just a hot second. Shout outs to everyone still in chat. Dr. Pepper Panda, good to have you here. Irande. This is a good moment just to get up. Grab yourself a coffee. Grab yourself a snack. Settle on in. We still got quite a bit more to hop on in. All right, looks like I caught up with quite a few people overall. I already spent more than $2 in the game and I'm just a beginner. I feel ya on that. I can definitely relate. So let's take a look at the scores. So I'm going to list out the top 10 teams for you guys. So T1, first place currently at 54 points. FK, which is Finel Korea, at 40 points. We have LFT, which had a massive boost from that last round, 34 points. Team number 4, SG Game, or SG, which is at 27 points. GTS, 5th place, 25 points. Sixth place is Reignite at 20 points. Detonator, 7th place at 16 points. Team Unite at 14 points at 8th place. Crazy Cat Cosmos, 9th place at 13 points. GTS Black, 13 points. So what does this tell us? This tells us that by a team just simply winning a few rounds, LFT, looking for team, has already shot up the ranks. Pretty big push overall with what we're seeing. We see that T1 has still got a comfortable lead. So if they get, let's say, another win or two, they're going to be pretty comfortable. So let's see how this continues to build, how this continues to go. And it's very, very exciting. So LFT definitely making some big plays. Let's see how it all shapes up, honestly. I'm definitely curious. What is the purpose of the portal? The zone is longer than the portal's time. They're trying to buy some time by going back and forth if they happen to lose too many team members, just to buy themselves time to get better placement. Sometimes the portals really make a difference. Sometimes, fortunately, you see the situation where it just doesn't make that much of a difference. I think personally they forgot about the circle change. But, you know, it happens out of habit, right? So at the end there, it can definitely get pretty intense, especially with the amount of caustics in. Dude, it can get pretty crazy. Lots of gas everywhere. The only people you're seeing up are pretty much the caustics. But again, don't forget to leave a like. I really appreciate all of you guys for watching. The support has been pretty crazy, pretty wild. I appreciate your patience. This is actually, believe it or not, my 3rd time ever commenting over a tournament before. So hope I'm doing pretty good. Definitely appreciate you guys for being here and watching. Having a lot of fun. Definitely going to continue doing it. I said I wanted to do more of it, and here we are. So if you guys are definitely enjoying it, I will continue to do the best I can to give you guys the best commentary possible. Just a reminder, I am driving the camera and commentating at the same time, so sometimes it can be a little crazy, a little bit of crazy. But yeah, you know, Wadstalker, you brought up a very valid point. So Caustic, as we're seeing, is definitely very meta. The fact that we don't have any Watsons in play whatsoever is definitely speaks a lot of volumes and how the game is definitely changing, and how if Caustic's buff definitely went through, just how different the game would be currently. I mean, it already is. Caustic is really, really strong. He's definitely very scary to already run into. It's just Caustic, man. The thing is that once one team commits to Caustic, it means that every other team has to do so, because the only counter to Caustic is really another Caustic. You can put down a Watson and put down the Gen, but realistically, whenever you have to push through a choke point, you need a Caustic. It's really what you need. Did T1 win the last round? They won 2 rounds of today so far. They are currently in first place, so let's go over the score. Let's go over the scores, ladies and gentlemen. So, in first place is T1 at a total of 54 points. Second place, let me see if I can, I'll create another document, actually. That's what I'm going to do. I'll create another document for you guys, because I have it all in an Excel sheet, but I'll make a quick document. APAC North quick course. I'm gonna copy and paste this here. Okay, so it's stemming from elsewhere. I'm gonna give you guys the points. Seconds. These are the scores, ladies and gentlemen. I made a specific document for all of you guys watching. Here you go. There you go. So that's the scores thus far. So that's what we're seeing. We have T1 obviously in the lead. I'll put the top 3. I'll highlight those in green for you guys. But that's what we're looking at in terms of overall score. So again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching thus far. We're about to go into game 4. Still got 3 more rounds to go. Quite a bit. And I appreciate all of you guys for watching. So that's the Google Doc that you're seeing right there. Don't forget to leave a like. Helps people find the stream. Thank you guys all so much for watching. We're about to get into the next round in just a hot second. Okay. All right, so looking in the back end, looks like we're about to begin here in about a minute or 2. We'll probably get the countdown any second. Everyone's pretty much good to go. How many matches will they do? 6. Total 6 matches. So type that in the chat. See if I can pin my comment for you guys, because I want you guys to have the scores. There we go. Yep. So I pinned it for those that are hopping in. If you want to know the scores, that it's there. That's just a doc. It's private. You can't really mess with it or anything like that. I'll update that and copy and paste the values and let you know where the scores are. But that's just for you guys to keep tally of how things are looking. So far we got T1 54 points, first place, FK second place 40, and LFT at 34. So that's the top 3 teams currently. Yeah, no worries, man. I do have it being fed over. I'm just copy and pasting into the document. Hopefully that is this the last game? No, we still have 3 more games. Should start in just a second. All right, but the fact that we're seeing a lot of teams not run Gibby is pretty cool to see all that. Why do teams find it annoying that they don't have Wraith? Wraith has been meta for a very long time. I don't know if people find it annoying, but Wraith has just been so comfortable. Yeah, correct. So what you're seeing here is that we have been granted special access into Apex Legends for APAC North specifically, and you can see my name over here on the observers on the left. Shout out to EA. Thank you so much for the opportunity to help give you guys this commentary, help see the back end, as well as obviously get into game and give you the full picture of Apex Legends. So thank you, appreciate that. For those that are curious, I do have some more Season 8 commentary coming. So that is coming for you guys later today. So be sure to check it out. I'm excited. I'm excited for that. For you guys to definitely see more content coming. So lots more coming. Very, very excited. Nonetheless, as well. And we're starting in 10. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. And let's hop in. I'll turn off the music here in a second. Let's take a look at the prior composition that we were looking at with teams, and let us see how that's shaping up for the current round. Okay, so obviously from what you can see, the crypto teams are still staying consistent. Caustic is a mass majority still. Teams are not changing away from their Caustic. They're definitely holding true to their Caustic, and they're not switching off of it. FK happens to be the only one of the few teams that's not running Caustic or crypto. They're not breaking away from the mold. We do have one Pathfinder team with Reignite, which is kind of interesting to see overall. Again, what you're seeing right now is obviously right before we hop in, everyone's choosing their legends. I'm going to follow FK at the start and see if we see a repeat of the prior round. It's going to be very interesting if we see that. Because FK has been getting 50-50'd off the rip pretty consistently. T1 has had very hard rotations. SG has been having consistency, but then kind of gets knocked out a bit early, but we're kind of curious how they're going to overall perform. So when we get into it, teams are most likely going to play a little passive here at the start, and we'll see how that breaks out into more of the mold. So I'm going to follow FK at the start just to see who is going to contest them. Fragment East has been very, very popular for 50-50s off the rip. I'm very curious if the other teams are, like Team LL has been kind of going for the 50-50s, if they're going to go for it again. We shall see. Let me turn off the music so we can hear footsteps. And I want you guys to hear everything that's going on. Just like Gibraltar's music. Okay. T1 has to be feeling pretty confident. Honestly, they have to be feeling pretty confident, but they cannot throw this next game or else they'll be throwing first place. They'll start to lose momentum, and when you lose momentum as a team, that's not very good. Doesn't make you feel very confident. All right, let's hop in. Thank you, Fabio. I appreciate you, buddy, for the kind words in the comment. We do have a team. Oh, didn't mean to block it. I apologize for that. Was not expecting the 50-50 to be that fast. FK's ready to fight. Gets one knock. Finishes it. We have had this team contest FK consistently. And it's definitely got to be upsetting for them. They have been hard contesting it, saying we can win this. And unfortunately, nice zip up. Big play there. And I apologize for the lag. This is only natural. Usually in the first, 1 or 2 minutes, this occurs. So I apologize for that. That's mostly because of where I'm broadcasting, region in the world, only reminding for those that are watching just in case. So, good clutch up again by FK. It's securing him the consistent points. I apologize for blocking the screen there at the start. I was not expecting to see the action. They just full sent them. This is definitely going to cause some drama. I can only imagine. It's definitely one of those things where teams just are very frustrated by having that level of disrespect and just jumping on them. The T1 has split up. He's just farming. Getting himself some stuff at Trials. His teammates are catching up. He's already got a gold helmet. And there's the gold armor. There's the gold. Got a gold backpack. Got a gold helmet. He's definitely going to give it to his good old Horizon. Probably the smarter play. Actually, no, he's giving it to the Caustic. Respectable. You can definitely get the res in the Caustic gas. Most teams are all playing it safe based on the map, just FYI. So this happens a lot in competitive. Any game, whether you're playing PlayerUnknown, Battleground, Fortnite, Apex, even high tier games like CSGO, where you'll see the start of the round tends to be a little more passive, then it just gets chaotic. Even if it's not a battle royale, this tends to happen. And the reason why this occurs is that teams want to make sure that they're not just rolling the dice. They want to make sure that they have prime positioning, that they're set up for every moment of success, because everyone in these lobbies is a very strong player. They know what they're doing. Everyone can shoot in these lobbies. Everyone can aim. Everyone has already practiced on Kovacs, has a controller, and practiced many, many hours in the test range, has a aim lab, whatever it is. They have all practiced and gotten very, very comfortable. So T1 has another hard rotation. They have not had the luxury of having any zone pulled towards this side of the map. They're very unfortunate for them. So what we're seeing here, and let's take a look at how SG is doing on their rotation, just so we're aware. They are over around Geyser. There have been teams around Geyser. They're in between two right now. The zone is pulling to this area. If they get one of these houses pretty early on, they can set up and kind of chill. They do see the team, but they have to realize, and SG is pretty smart. They know this, that engaging this early on would mean that another team was most likely going to roll up behind them. But they may actually cut them off and go all in on this. They are saying that we're going to cut you off and we want the points. So they got the off angle here, goes for the scan. Let's see if this was actually the play, and they decide not to go for the fight, and they're actually going for loot. Unfortunately, this looks like it has been picked clean. And they do not have, it doesn't even have a secondary at the moment, but I believe he'll find something here, get comfortable, and continue to rotate. So good on them. It looks like they have the other enemy team from the south side. Oh, only has an alternator. That's got to feel uncomfortable just having an alternator. And they're going to figure out their gun situation here now. It picks up the EVA. Wingman Massive, always a strong combo. R99 and Charge Rifle. So pretty solid stuff. Let's take a look. Teams are not going to be fighting again at the start here. Everyone's just getting a little comfortable. Let's take a look at Fennel. See how they're doing. They're getting shot in the back. Or not shot in the back. They're chasing a team from the back. Excuse me, misspoke. It looks like they're chasing. So this might be a fight here. Let's take a look.
They've laid traps. Let's explore this way.
They're pushing on up. They know they're chasing a team. They know. Let's take a look at the Bloodhound scanning this up. Scan went out. They're chasing. They're hungry. And there they are. Fortune doesn't get the maximum damage. Nice tracking there. Beautiful. Love to see that. 2 cracks. You know they're going to full send this. And he's going to pop his ult. Guaranteed after he gets the reload to kind of push in. And no, he actually doesn't pop his ult. There. Let's see when he pops it. He knows there it is. I kind of figured he'd do it a few seconds sooner, but still, right on time. The ult is there. They're aping this. They got them stuck, huddled into a little. Oh, unfortunate Kraber there. This is an unfortunate situation for them, and he decides to take the port for an off angle here. This is not the situation they want to be in. That Kraber made the biggest difference there. Fortunately, doesn't land and connect his massive shots. Nice recovery. Gotta say, our Reignite has to be upset about that one. They had the opening on the Kraber, had every opportunity to get that. Then that happens. Very unfortunate. Pretty solid play. I was actually pretty nervous for them in that situation, but they managed to clutch it out. Let's take a look at Unite. It looks like they're about to clear out a fight here on the north side. They just finished it. Let's take a look at Detonator. Looks like they're in a gunfight. Looks like they were chasing. One person got caught out. Looks like there's the port. Looks like the pops the Q up top. Let's see what's up here. It's a party. Party up here. Detonator. Unsure where the team went, and there they went on the south side over there. Let's take a look at T1 and their rotation. T1 making a little late. They have the full area here, but is not going to pull on the north side. It's going to pull on the south side, ladies and gentlemen, which is why they are all over here on this side of the map. But they at least always have armor. They're always sitting pretty comfortable. Their horizons take a little damage, but it's fine because she's got that mobility up top. Let's take a look at 1864 as he's rezzing his teammates. There's one res. They're pretty safe for the most part for now. He had to leave one of his buddies behind. You know, kind of rule of attrition. Let's take a look at Jupiter, as I know their positioning could be a little bit interesting. They're going to be pushing up behind launch site here, which means there could be a fight that will break out. Let's stick with them for just a hot second. Let's see how this plays out. This launch site is going to get quite intense. All these areas right here. Looks like they're already flying on teams right there. Let's take a look at... Let's not unite. Let's take a look at how they're doing. Okay, they're in Lava City currently. That's perfectly fine. Let's take a look at Northception. And there they go. Well, they have the crypto drone. This is actually a great bird's eye view because it gives us intel where they're at. They're trying to see if this is safe so they can get a rotation in. Made the call. They're moving. They're going to leave. What's weird is that these teams managed to fight, but they're actually not committing whatsoever. Pretty smart. They know that if they were to fight right now, it's just not worth it. They need to get into zone because they know where it's pulling. Pretty smart. It's where the crypto is. Kind of bought them some time, bought them some positioning where they're going to overall go. Let's use the crypto eye in the sky to kind of give us our little positioning. They're going to check out that area in just a moment, and they know that they're there. Gotta love crypto for commentating. Kind of gives us that nice little eye overall. He's definitely going to use this for a scan. Beacon scanned. Love to see it. Gives us the zone there. Going to be a Lava City finish. It'll either pull to the north side here or it'll pull right to these buildings on the south side. Bit of RNG. I'm going to kind of have to go with the north side considering that's where the beacon is. Just for you guys just so you guys know. Crypto drone back out. They are going to find this team out in Lava City and they need to find positioning. He sees the team up top, sees the team that's in that building. He knows that there's two different teams. They need to take a building, so he's going to try to figure out what building is safe for them to take. Good intel. He should push on this immediately. And there they go. They're going to make a push. They have time. They just got to play this a little smart as they're going to get picked on everyone. That building is going to stay free. The other teams will not give up their positioning, but it will be hard for them to get in. We see, let's take a look at T1, how they're doing on the rotation in. T1 has some issues getting in here into the zone. They should be okay, though, overall, on their overall positioning and spots. Let's take a look at who have we not taken, given a little love. Let's take a look at HE Arise. And they're the team that's currently in Lava City. They got dome, but they're going to have a lot of angles that they're going to get picked on. We'll hang with them for a little bit. I don't want to neglect anybody in terms of commentating. And right now things are pretty quiet. Let's take a look at where North is. And this is a team, as I was mentioning before, that was going to get caught out. They're pushing in. They bought themselves some time. And they're safe for now. But unfortunately they did lose their caustic, which is going to be their holding power. They're just going to have to keep running. Let's take a look at FK. Looks like they're pushing out a team here. That's a pretty nice cleanup if I were to say so myself. It's free loot. It's free real estate. Very nice. Makes a rotation in. It's going to be a little tight. They have this open area right here, which is not necessarily the best spot to be in because you want to get into one of the houses. So they're going to have to contest here. They're not going to stay here for very long. It wouldn't make sense to do so. Let's take a look at T1 and their rotation. They're going to hold up on an angle. They're not going to get into a fight. That's fine. So initial damage there. About 50, 54 damage with a charge rifle. 59, nice follow-up damage. And they're going to push down below and secure one of these buildings. Again, looks like it's going to pull either the north side or the south side of Lava City. We'll figure out where that pulls and what happens here. Gives him a little sell, a little love. And he rotates in. They cannot stay here. They're going to have to push their way through if they're going to be successful, which is definitely going to be hard for them. Because they have other big teams that are looking for positioning just like T1. T1 actually finding a nice clean rotation here. The question is it too early of a rotation? T1 has been finding a lot of success rotating in, but making sure that it's not too early. And I do question if this is too early for them to get picked on, as we're already seeing it happen. Because if they're here too early and they get picked on, it's going to make it very hard for them.
Spotted an enemy over there. Oh my, an enemy.
All right.
Spotted an enemy over there.
Might be something good this way.
So nothing is going to happen here for a second. We got a minute. Once this minute is up, this is where it's going to get intense. This is where teams have to push their way through and find an angle to be successful. I am happy to see more horizons in competitive. It's been interesting and been fun to really see how things are shaping up. And again, if you're just tuning in while we have just a moment, again, this is APAC North official tournament for Apex Legends. There is a 5-minute delay, so if I'm not responding, it's only because there is a 5-minute delay to keep competitive integrity. T1's going to find themselves in a really rough spot here. Let's take a look at how FK is making their way in. And here it is. They're going to push right through this team on the north side. We do hear Crypto Drone out. He's going to use his Gibraltar ult to buy some space. Push him out a little bit. I don't think that throw was it was not far enough, though. If anything, I think that more hinders them from getting in when they need to push in immediately here. I think if he waited on the ult, it probably would have been a little bit more effective. There it is, and they're going to have to sell out before they push in. Fortunately, they weren't able to shoot it out. He is kind of splitting his decision-making here, whether he needs to shoot it or not. 2 cracks. It's not the position they want to be in. Heals up, waits for a rotation, uses a Gibby bubble to push in. Unfortunately, they are on the low ground, which is not good. Gets cracked. Let's see if he's got another battery to put himself in a better spot. So FK, let's go back to T1 and see how they're doing, because they're going to get sandwiched from every which angle. Caustic has to drop, which means they're about to run into FK from this angle. The Horizon may need to come back and make some cover fire for this poor little Caustic here. FK, charge rifles, another team from a distance. And they're all about to converge in this one spot. It's about to get pretty spicy. Looks like T1 has the upper hand because they didn't give it up, but they are getting shot in the back. Got a trusty Havoc here, pulling it out. Got to charge it. Oh, actually, no, he doesn't have a charge. It has a turbocharger. There's a Gibraltar bubble. Let's take a look at how FK is doing. They are the team down below here. They did push out a team. They are pretty nervous. The unfortunate part is that they wasted this bubble. They do have a port. Doesn't get burned, so they're not. Oh, the one is getting burned, so they are losing a bit of intel. This team up height does have a bit to worry about. Let's take a look at T1, what they're doing. I'm not sure if T1 is aware of the other people from the right there, and there they are now. They're not pushing them because they don't want to get thirded and they don't want to get shot in the back. But they only have a bit of time. They only got a minute to make a decision here. If they take out the teams from behind, that's some solid points. If they push in too early on the teams in front, it only gives the opportunity for the teams down below to push them from behind. It's always a really tough decision of where they're going to be at. Nice Caustic ult. The team is shooting from across the way. They're getting a little aggro. They will not drop on this because it does not make sense to do so. No team is going to drop on that. I promise you, rest assured, they will not drop on that, but they have to be aware of the team that is right behind them. And they do see them. There they are. They got the off angle on them. They don't have the Gibby bubble. Oh, the Gibby bubble is up. I remember they used it a bit earlier. Lucky timing. And there's the Wraith port to port them out. And here's the fight. 2 knocked. Are they going to get in time? Oh, and they push through the port. They go full aggro because they know this is a 3v1 situation. There it is. Solid 84 damage. Nice knock. Who's got the self-revive? I'm just kidding. It's tournament. There is no self-revive. This doesn't happen here. But solid play. T1 making some big plays here. Trying to push inside the building. Trying to make their way in. Solid damage. Only the Horizon gets knocked. Able to recover this. Put the Caustic gas down. And make a play. There is a team right above them. And they have to wait patiently here. FK is knocked and out of this. And the Wraith is making a port for them to go into safety. They do get out. Unfortunately, gets hit by that Arc Star. He's going to have to throw a Caustic gas and throw a battery. And he's getting shot from various angles and goes down. This, I have to say, I am pretty impressed by this Horizon. She's making some pretty big plays. Very, very smart on their part. Unfortunately, T1 has a very rough rotation. There's a lot of teams here. They played this as well as they could have currently. They haven't been able to clutch out as many kills as they would want. They're going for placement here. Gets a knock. And he's going to go down to zone. The Horizon is going to struggle here. Flies in from a high angle. And unfortunately, he's going to go down. That puts him in a rough situation and rough placement in this current round. 13th place is not where they want to be. Let's take a look at SG because they are one of the top contenders, but only their caustic is remaining. So T1 is losing momentum, ladies and gentlemen. T1 is losing momentum. It's not something you want to see, especially with their strong start. Trying to be a little quiet. Let's take a look at LFT as they're making a comeback here. Are we going to see LFT take this tournament away? Honestly, if they do win this, this will shoot them right up potentially to first place, considering the performance that we saw from just T1 this round. They do have everyone up. They currently have 5 kills. They do have a nice opportunity to clutch this out. And what is that wingman skin?
Traps.
No offense to that wingman skin. Listen, not here to judge. What's your favorite wingman skin, chat? I actually would love to hear it. Surprised he's going for the thick wingman skin. Not here to judge. Judging. LFT is in a pretty good spot though, honestly, but they do have to push in, and they're the only team that has to make a play. So will they manage to clutch this out and find a good positioning? I don't think they should get too greedy with loot here, is the only thing. Should not get too greedy with loot.
Let's explore this way.
They're making their way in. It's the calm before the storm. It is pretty quiet, but the issue is that there's many different levels to these floors. And he's going to use the Gibby ult to buy some time. There's the battery. Let's see where the Wraith decides to go. She's going to have to take a floor. The question is, what building? She goes back because she doesn't have enough information. She just knows that it's too chaotic. She goes right back through the port, hopefully to buy herself enough time. Comes back through. And they have the Gibby bubble to buy themselves some time. But it's going to be a miracle if they manage to clutch this out because they are in the middle of the open and they are not in a building. This race movement is quite nice. You're definitely using the bunny hops. She's going to have to pop a bat. Reposition off. The Horizon is taking height. Getting shot from a different team from the building, though. Definitely trying to pop another bat, trying to buy themselves some time. There's a Gibraltar ult, and they're getting picked on by everyone in the lobby. Let's take a look at this Gibraltar. He is finding space where space does not exist. And there it is. Unfortunately, he is going down there. So LFT wasn't able to clutch that out. Let's take a look at Detonator. Everyone's going to have a different floor. This is going to be an interesting ending. This is going to pull to one of these buildings. And everyone's going to have a different floor. So it's going to be quite quiet. There are 8 teams. A crypto could essentially throw his ult and probably damage half of the lobby if it ends on one of the buildings. He got quite a few drones going out. Let's take a look at one of these drones while we're at it. Let's take a look at whose drone is actually out currently. Let's take a look at Norf's. And there it is. Tujme. Let's take a look where they're at. Tujme. They're everywhere. And there's one of the drones that goes out. Let's take a look at where the other drone is at. Not the situation you want to be in. You get cracked right before the zone pops. That is not what you want. They're getting naded out. There's the crypto ult. Gets hit. Pops the cell. Tries to bunny hop his way to success. This is going to be really rough. I am really surprised this team did not get hammered any more than they did, considering that they got cracked and they got hit by a crypto ult as moving in. That Wraith is trying to find a spot for them to live at, and there's another port. Look how many ports are here. It's the Oprah Winfrey of ports, and you get a port, and you get a port. Everybody wants a port, and unfortunately everyone starts getting knocked because there's a million ports. Everyone's just going to go right back and forth. It's just a bounce house of ports. What am I looking at, ladies and gentlemen? There are so many ports. Let's take a look at another team. I guarantee there's going to be another port. If I wasn't mistaken, this would probably be near the ocean because there's nothing but ports here. So they're trying to buy some time, trying to buy some space. Unfortunately, get hit by gas. And there's another port, ladies and gentlemen. Do you see that come from above? Another port. Everyone has the same idea of where they should put this. Uses a Q to buy themselves some time. It's not going to be enough. Unfortunately, he's definitely going to get shot right afterwards. And he doesn't. No, he does. This is definitely a rough situation. They drop down. It's chaotic. Everyone is taking the port. Chat's taking the port. I'm taking the port. You're taking the port. North is taking the port. They just took a port from above. They're taking the port back. He's using his Q. Everyone is just, what's everyone doing right now is buying time. He takes the port back. He's going to use the port to buy some time. People are getting knocked left and right to the ring. There is no port here. The port's gone and Detonator wins. What happened at the end here? Ports. Ports is what happened, ladies and gentlemen. Because of the amount of buildings, the amount of stuff happening in terms of ports, there are ports everywhere. Can I get ports in chat? Just more ports. Wow, that was... I've seen a lot of tournaments. I've seen a lot. That was pretty crazy. That was pretty wild. That was a lot of ports. How many times did I say port? Oh, that was crazy. That was a lot of fun. Let's update this because we are now in round 5. Anything can happen. We'll see what happens. So the team that took first place there was Detonator. Second was North. Third was Jupiter. Fourth was ORT. And ORT Magical in fifth. Notice that the teams that were killing it before, FK and other teams, are the ones that are definitely struggling. All right, so let's hop into the next round here. Don't forget to grab yourself a drink, perhaps a coffee, because we are going to settle in because we're going into Game 5. Game 5, ladies and gentlemen. I love in chat, by the way, all of you guys saying Merciless Wingman. I also love the Battle Pass one. I'm definitely fond of it, personally. How many ports was that, chat? Okay, we'll get in a second. Once the scores are updated, I'm going to update that document that I have pinned at the very top of the screen. Once I see that they're there, I will update that. But they're currently getting all the scores in, and once they are, I will move them over for all of you guys. But I appreciate all of you guys in chat. Thank you guys so much so far for watching. I already got in. Nice. Okay. Didn't even realize I clicked it. All right, so we're in. Teams are probably reassessing what they're doing. That end zone in terms of Lava City can be really hard because there can be a lot of teams at the very end, and yeah, it can be very, very difficult. It can definitely be hard. And it's because there's so many different levels, so there can be a lot of teams existing on different floors. So definitely hard rotation. A lot of teams are basically figuring out how to push their way in. T1 has been able to find a lot of success, but unfortunately they're getting knocked out early the last few rounds. They're getting kills, but still finding it hard to make a comeback. What T1 is looking for, and I guarantee they're probably saying it in their comms, why have we not gotten a circle over by Skyhook? We're going into to round 5, and we've yet to see one, so I'm sure that can be very frustrating for them. Okay, so I'm looking just to make sure if we're getting the scores here in just a hot second. Again, I want to thank all of you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave a like as it helps others find the stream. Don't forget to subscribe. For those that are curious about Season 8, my prior video happens to be the 30-30 repeater. I definitely recommend checking it out. It would be great if you guys checked out that video because it's helpful. It talks about the new gun coming to Apex. Later today, I definitely have a detailed guide coming out about the new legend coming out for Season 8. So be sure to check that out. I won't be able to tell you guys the time, but definitely coming out soon. So if this is an official tournament, which teams are this, and why is it happening before the real event? Because this is APAC North. APAC North is a different region of the world. So we have what's occurring is that this is APAC North official. There's APAC South, there's Europe, there is North America. So you see T1 teams, non-T1 teams. You know, it kind of all balanced out of what's happening. But in general, these are kind of the qualifiers until the final ending of what you're going to see overall. So it's important just to kind of understand that these are the qualifiers until you go into the final round. But this is finals in terms of this first round, which is why you're seeing in the spreadsheet the top teams. Sort of looking for the top teams have to figure out that are going to advance, like the ALGS points. So this is an official tournament. This is going to be shout, like NA will have their own ones that's going to be shoutcasted, so will Europe. I happen to be doing the English version of APAC North. So if you haven't really noticed any of these teams, this is definitely a different region of the world. Or if you happen to be from Asia, then you definitely recognize these teams. It definitely provides a different perspective overall for Apex. So I'm just waiting for the scores to be updated so I can update the spreadsheet for you guys. So pretty exciting. At this moment, I would definitely recommend getting yourself a coffee, getting yourself a drink. It is 6:29 in the morning. I started at 4 a.m. and I didn't sleep. So I'm actually feeling pretty good overall. Hopefully you're feeling pretty good. There was so much ports everywhere that last round. I'm not going to lie. That was pretty crazy. But nonetheless, it's been pretty fun. All right, guys. I really appreciate all of you. So this has been fun, honestly. It's been a blast. Just waiting for the scores to get updated, and you know, scores can be very hard to update. Okay. Right, still waiting. All right, teams are logging in, getting situated. What happens at this part of the tournament, and it makes sense what happens with T1 and even some of the larger orgs that we're seeing, is that it can be very difficult for you to maintain momentum. These guys have been already gaming in this intense environment for over 2.5 hours. So we still have a few more rounds to go. I would say we have about another hour left of this overall tournament because each round's about 30 minutes. So we got about another hour together. Another hour. So pretty excited. Okay. Two more rounds, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just trying to look in the back end to see if I have any updates in terms of scores or what's going on. No update yet. We have been on it. As ports counter, I would say the counter to ports, if people are asking, would probably be the caustic. The fact that there was just nothing but caustic gas at the end of the round next to just endless ports is probably the best way to do it. Do you think the 30-30 will be meta in ALGS? We're gonna see a lot of the 30-30. The 30-30 is a great balance between the G7 Scout and the longbow. So I think No Cocoa Puff said it as well, that we're gonna see a ton of it. So yeah. We definitely will. Rest assured, yes, we will. We will see a lot of it. I'm excited. Now the question is, will we see Fuse become really popular with an ALGS? It took Horizon a little while when we did cover the last tournament that was in the finals. It took a bit for Horizon to appear. The fact that we're seeing so much more of her just kind of highlights that individual players take a little bit of time before they get comfortable with the new meta, you know? That's a good point. I see 696 watching, but half the likes. If you're enjoying the stream, enjoying the channel, don't forget to leave a like. It definitely helps. Helps other people find the stream, helps other people find the channel. So just take a moment, leave a like, and it definitely helps. Okay. Taking a look at the back end. Let me see if the scores are up. Fortunately, they're still logging the scores, which is perfectly fine. We know that T1 was still in first place from before. If there's any change, let me see here. Let's see. There it is. It's updated. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to update it right now. Where'd it go? Literally just saw it update. Okay, guess it did an update. All right, we'll wait. We may just hop into the next round before then. All right, game 5. Game 5 is definitely going to be exciting. Be sure to grab yourself a drink, cup of coffee, come back, hang out, because we're in for another intense round. I've seen a lot of end circles, but that last one was really insane. When is this starting? Here in about just a few minutes. Saying it updated, but I don't see that update. It's fine. Let me take a look at the back end and see when we're going to get into the next round. Okay. With the shoddy pistols supreme, are you talking about the Mozambique? Good old Mozambique. Everyone's ready. I guess they're looking at some of the tech stuff because the scores aren't updated, so they're taking an extra second. I think that's the issue. Again, we got 2 more rounds, so I guarantee this is going to be potentially another hour together. So we got a strong hour, a lot of content coming, a lot of stuff. Again, this is on a 5-minute delay. This is the official APAC North Apex Legends tournament that is occurring for the winter circuit. So I appreciate if you're tuning in, if you're curious what you're watching. We're going to get started here in just a hot second. For those that are asking questions about the new season, it comes out this coming Tuesday. So with the next ALGS tournament that happens, we're going to definitely see that come into play. Okay. Trying to see where the holdup is, but we should get in just a hot second. I'm still putting my bets honestly with T1 for this tournament. I'm curious for everyone in chat, who would you put your money on at this point? T1, if they get a solid win, that's going to pretty much boost them up and just secure this. I really feel confident about that. But only time will really tell, right? There we go. We're starting. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. The round is starting. So let's take a look at the lineup. Let's take a look at it before. Unfortunately, I didn't see the scores updated in time, which is fine. Maybe we'll see it happen midway through. Everyone right now is just picking their legends, and let's take a look at the current loadout of what we saw before. Definitely see still a lot of horizons out in play. A lot of cryptos, as you saw at the final circle there. And we're still seeing Caustic. Reignite has not gotten rid of their Pathfinder. They have not changed out the Pathfinder. Nobody has brought in a Watson to counter whatsoever. We're not seeing any Watsons in play. And just a hot second, we're going to follow FK again to see if Team LL is going to hard grief FK at the start again. I feel like they are going to change up their tactic. I'm going to look from their POV this time around to see what their thought process is in terms of that drop. Okay. So once everyone's done selecting their legends, everyone's going to go right into the jump ship. We're going to go right into it. Let's follow Team LL. So this is a calm before the storm. Everyone's going to play it safe. No, they're going for it. They are still hard contesting. Let's see what FK's thinking. Yep. We're going to see another 50-50. Are they going to hard grief FK? Are they actually going to get them one time? FK's managed to clutch it out, and they're looking behind them and say, yep, they're still there. We're seeing a 50-50 right off the rip. Here it goes. Their Wraith really popped off this last one, so I'm going to follow the Wraith and see what happens. You took a floor down below. This is really based on RNG. Let's see what they get. Oh, unfortunately, just a P2020. Solid damage. Gets the knock. Ooh, he's one hit, though. He's only got a moment to breathe. He's going to try to pop that med kit. Gonna try to get away. Try to recover just a little bit. Unfortunately, it's going to be burning. This is not the situation they want to be in. 2 are knocked. And FK finally goes out. Hard griefed. Hard grief. This is definitely going to put some upsets. People are going to be DMing constantly to find a different drop spot. How dare you drop on me? Just the works is going to happen with that. I could just imagine just how upset FK is, especially when every single round at this point is going to matter, going from 5 to 6. That's definitely an upset. I can feel the tension on that. That's something you don't want to see. A lot of teams, as you can tell, are very respectful. They're all waiting. They're all waiting. They all take their time. They're not contesting. They're not fighting. But unfortunately, we're seeing some 50-50s off the drop. That's just the reality that we're seeing. We do see some teams fighting a little bit in Skyhook, but they're not contesting hard with it. He's just checking, making sure that nobody's going to come his way. It's probably the most action we're going to see. It's happening in trials. Not going to see many other fights occurring at the moment. So we're going to watch good old T1 just laser some NPCs down. He's feeling pretty confident. Nobody's picking on him. He's getting his free loot. He's like, look at that. That's a massive. Definitely grab that. And he's got his gold armor. Very nice. He's got his teammates catching up with him. Finally catching up, meeting him up here. They got one more shot and some strong armor. Solid recoil control. Every team on the map is just hard rotating. Get to enjoy a little bit of action here on Trials. You don't really see this often. Honestly, you really don't. Kind of why I'm just marveling in the moment. You don't see a lot of people go for Trials. But it seems like T1 seems to have a pretty solid play in splitting between Lava Fissure and looks like another team actually contesting more of Lava Fissure. And there's 2 golds. 2 golds sets them up pretty high for success. Now let's take a look at where the zone is. The zone is still pulling on the south side of the map, south right side of the map. The unfortunate part is that this still does not give T1 the position that they really desire. SG, as per usual, sets up pretty early into the circle, making their way in. They're over here by Geyser, getting pretty comfortable. Detonator, starting from launch site, pushing their way up. In Harvester, they know another team is potentially here, but they're just biding their time, enjoying the vibes. We look at Team Unite. Team Unite, it looks like they're already in a fight, actually, so we showed up at the right time. Gets an armor swap. They necessarily don't want to fight this, though. He's going to take a look, eye in the sky, and does not. They know they need to hard rotate. The Wraith is getting caught out of position. This is not looking good for Team Unite. 1 down. You know they're going to hard contest this. GTS is making the play. They have the better situation in armor. They have the better situation overall. There is another team taking another off angle. Taking some eye in the sky shots. Pretty solid hit. Very nice. Landing his charge rifle shots. 30, 30, 60. We can do math. Pretty solid damage. He's only got 43 HP remaining. And of course, he's going to make the play on this. Horizon's Q comes off cooldown quickly, but he can assume that he's going to get a heal off on that. So he takes the height. Says, you know what? You're not getting away from me. Let me laser you down. 61 HP in. Gets the crack. Probably has about 56 HP remaining, potentially. Give or take, depending on how much he got on cells. GTS here is just kind of picking up some kills, picking up some straggling, you know. They're going to push on this because they know they have every advantage. The Crypto got knocked. They know he has to go back for his friend, but honestly, it's a bit of a lost cause. That Caustic said, I am out. He said, I have never seen that team in my whole entire life. Take a look at GTST and see how they're doing. They're actually getting contested here by another team. This is a pretty early fight. This is not the situation I would want to be in. You'd want to go to zone. They have a ways to go, and there's another Gibby ult out. Here's the Arcstar from another angle, and they're going to rotate in. No reason to stay here. Zone is closing. bit of a waste of time to stay here and fight for some extra points when you could potentially lose the fight. Trying to buy some cover, trying to buy some time, and the Gibraltar's out. Now we got a 3v2 situation, and this other team is going to try to capitalize on every which way they can. He's trying to cover with charge rifle from a distance, but it may not be enough. It might deter them. Solid damage, 110 damage in. Does his reload. He's essentially just buying time for his Wraith, just to heal. But it may not be enough because one already pushed in. Nice crack there. And unfortunately, all we're left with is a Horizon. And this team is going to keep pushing him out. Horizon had solid position, did solid damage, but just was not enough to really clutch it out. Tries to get them stuck in there by throwing her ult, and then burns them. Here's them all healing inside. Can he clutch a 3v1 situation? Definitely going to be rough. Pulls the roof. Tries to stay quiet, then gets scanned. Pushes the door, and that's it for them. Good fight. Good effort. But unfortunately, just was not enough. Got punched out, or pushed out, excuse me, by Melon. They do get the heals off, and they're going to have to rotate right after. T1, unfortunately, we missed this fight. How did we miss this going on? This team must have just run out of nowhere. I apologize that we missed that. Ran over T1, and that is not the situation we want to be in. I guarantee T1 is shocked about that. I'm shocked about that because that occurred right in the kill feed faster than I could even catch it. So I apologize that we missed that, but that's crazy that occurred. T1 already out. This definitely pushed them far behind. This is not this. They need to clutch out a really strong game in this last match, knowing that T1 is out this early. Everyone saw it in the kill feed, and everyone is aware that T1 is out of this match. We have FK out early. We have T1 out early. We have SG making some plays, but overall, we're seeing some of the other underdogs make a comeback. Are we seeing some of the teams feeling the pressure? They're collapsing from pressure as some of these teams that maybe some of the underdogs are starting to feel a lot more confident on their plays. They should notice that there's a lot of gold armor here, and there they go. They got the 2 golds. Guarantee they'll give it to the Wraith and the Crypto, as you want to give probably the red armor to your Gibraltar. That would be ideal. More or less a looting situation, or they may not. Maybe they'll go for 2 reds. They may be pretty close, let's see here. They're really not, so it's, I guess, more personal preference if you want the extra heals or if you want to run the red for end zone. Really depends. It's really not a right or wrong there. So we see everyone kind of being a little quiet here. Even though there's teams here, they're not going to fight. There's no reason to. Realistically, the only team that might engage is going to be this team. So we're going to keep a close eye on this. All right, chat. We're going to keep a close eye for everyone watching because this is where the action. And these other teams are not going to fight because it's just not worth it. Not worth giving up your positioning, and they know they need to wait for the zone to rotate. Definitely going to see how many teams are in the area. You got a number, got a quick scan, recalls his drone and keeps moving in.
Let's go here.
Solid rotation, solid momentum, but they're about to run into a team here in just a hot second, and there's the first shot. Luckily, does not get hit, does not expose how much armor he has. Very nice movement by the Crypto, moving back and forth. He's going to check that box real quick just to see what's in it. And honestly, they're probably going to rotate all the way around. They don't realize how much space they have there, but it is pretty hard because there's a team here already taking the center, and so they really realistically only have this open area, but it's really not worth being in.
Something good this way.
Unfortunately, chat, nobody is running Watson. We're looking at a caustic world, and actually we're seeing more Horizons than Watson, especially in this tournament. So we're seeing the calm before the storm here. Who knows if a team is really going to contest? I'm keeping an eye on this roster here, mostly because they're the ones making the largest movement. They're going to run into this team potentially in a minute. Got some teams separate here. We got the team super late over in Fragment. But realistically, the only people moving the most is HE Arise. you're probably wondering why he's got his crypto drone on the ground. The reason why is that it makes it a little harder to hit. If you're kind of in the air, kind of floating, having the various things around the areas definitely helps. And he gets a scan out and realizes it is in Sorting Factory. Not bad. So this is game 5 out of 6. We got one more game after this. Take a drink of water while we have a moment.
Let's relocate here.
This is probably the quietest that I have Commentator's curse said it was the quietest it's been in a little while. No longer quiet. Uses his Wraith Q to go back. They're not going to fight this. There's no reason to. Just get a little comfortable, you know? No reason to fight right now. It doesn't make sense. Now, HE Arise, on the other hand, they might try to contest it if they get a good crack, if they can get a good angle, they may contest it. Lots of teams are out in position. At least they know where the zone is. They're not aware that they're about to run into a team, though. They do need to be careful with how much space that they're occupying in case they run into a team. Solid damage. Oh, there is a fight breaking out. Let's take a look. Fortunately, we missed it. I apologize. That happened very quickly, and they did recover here. That was to the north side, so I apologize that we did miss that. That happened very, very quickly as they pushed on in. Happened within seconds, honestly. So it looks like 1864 did get booted out. They do have a hard rotation in. There is a team in Donut, and they are hard holding and just looting and trying to get all the assets they need to rotate in. So we got a little breathing room here. We got about 1:40. This team does need to rotate. All the other teams are sitting pretty okay. They're sitting pretty okay. And we do hear shots going off. I see a knock. I'm definitely going to switch over to a different POV. Let's take a look at how Detonator's doing. So Detonator is in there. Let's take a look at where HE, because they did probably notice that their roster was about to get into a gunfight. So let's take a quick look at them. Where am I? I'm totally lost for a second. Sorry, apologize there they are. So they are inside the building, and they are aware of the space there. We're about to see some action about to occur here. They do know they see a fight happening, and they want to get on the action. There's a crypto ult.
Enemy spotted.
And they're questioning, do we go for this? Are they even going to hard contest into this? Is the crypto ult just for the armor damage? Or are they actually going to do something off of it? Currently, the answer is nothing is going to happen off of it, and everyone's waiting for their moment to actually strike. They know where the zone is ending. There is one team on the inside and one team up top.
Might be something good. Never mind.
On the outside of the rim, of course. And of course, they're not going to fight it. They don't want to.
Got a closed door here.
We do hear the Q and we do hear the port. And there's the port, and they're going to try to make some space out of this. Getting a little caught out of position. This is not what they want to do. They don't want to be caught out of position like this. If they give it too much intel, it's going to make it very hard for them to actually make a play and go off of something here. He does lose his Gibraltar shield, so he needs to take a moment to breathe. Let's switch back. Let's take a look at SG and see how they're doing.
This way.
They have a hard rotation in. They may get into a gunfight. There's going to be a lot of fighting happen here in just a hot second, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to switch back and forth because I don't want to miss too much, but I might miss a play, potentially. So I apologize if I do, but it looks like a lot of fights are about to break out, especially with SG and these teams right above them. I have the highest probability that we're going to see a fight break out here in just a second. They are going to hard gate them up. Once he finishes this heal, he's going to go up above. There's a crypto drone. The whole different team gets shot, reevaluates everything, says, you know what, I'm just going to chill here. This isn't worth it anymore. This is going to become a sandwich here. That team up above does not want to stay up there. It's too out in the open. They're just going to get picked on. They're going to need to drop down. And there they go. Like I said, they did drop down. SG does get a snipe off. Impressive shot with a sentinel. We'll keep a close eye since he seems to be pretty hot right now. Doesn't get the sentinel shot, but does get the arc star damage for 39, excuse me. Solid damage going in for 70. A little good damage each way, 50 versus 70, not a bad trade. Has to waste a bat though, unfortunately. They take height over out in the open. This may not be necessarily the play. Unfortunately, FL is getting knocked out. They have a hard rotation here. Everything is about to get real spicy. They don't realize that this building is completely occupied.
Hostile right here.
This is a high risk. Throws a barrel on the outside of that just to buy them some time. And they are about to run into a fight here. One does get knocked. Good start. Uses that just to buy themselves a little time. And there is a lot of people occupying a small amount of space here. There's a caustic ult. They have to leave. Unfortunately for their Wraith and for their Bloodhound. Bloodhound is able to find an angle here. This is not a bad angle for them. If he stands right there, he's avoiding all the gas, so that's quite lucky, to be quite honest. And there's a crypto drone. And now they're going to heal up. They're not going to push. They're going to just relax. There is going to be a team probably fighting on the inside there. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Sorry about that. Misclick. There they go. He does get the res out, but I'm not sure if it's enough time to really save them much for him anything here. He does take... They do drop, which may not be the play, because now they have lost height. But there are tons of fights breaking out, all happening all at once at very different angles. Let's go back to SG and see how they're holding up in their situation. They're taking height. They're not dropping down. 14 teams. 14 teams, ladies and gentlemen. Realize that for this small circle that's about to occur, and it's closing right now as we speak. They have to notice the teams on the south side.
Hostile over there.
Staying a little quiet. I want to make sure we're catching all the action, that we're noticing what's occurring here, because it is getting very intense and the circle is getting very small. And there's the action right there. SG gets one knock. There's a Gibby ult out there to protect them, but it may not be enough. There's two Gibby ults out. Two domes and two ults. Actually, one ult. Apologize. The bubble's only there to buy them just enough time, but based on their angle, this may not be enough to keep them up long enough. Another fight is breaking out. Let's take a look at Crazy Raccoon. They're in a safe spot. That's the team that was up above. Let's take a look at GST Black. They have the low ground at the moment, but they do have a nice angle. Let's go back to... Does have a Kraber. Got 3 shots in it. Does have a Volt. We're getting very tight on space.
Hostile right here.
Very tight on space here, and they're actually going to take the low ground. But they do have a Kraber. There is a Kraber in play, ladies and gentlemen. He gets a solid shot here. Nice, 123 damage, nice crack, and puts the pressure. Everyone is doing a lot of pick damage. There's going to be a lot of fights. There's going to be a lot of knocks here. Let's take a look at Reignite. One person down to Reignite. They're just going to have to take the loss there on that caustic. There's not even worth grabbing that, because there's not... He thought about grabbing it, but then he realized there's not even a res here in the area unless he's got a respawn beacon. Hard holding, a lot of fighting going on. A lot of stuff happening out in the open. Misses every wingman shot. That can't feel good. But it is difficult to land the wingman shots at a distance. They are safe up here, but the question is it worth staying out there? Are they going to be too out in the open? SG does have one. That is down, unfortunately. And they're hard holding, but they do have a hard rotation in. Puts out his port. Trying to find an open, uses his Q. And the Bloodhound is just praying, please drop the port, please drop the port. And now they're out in the open and they have to fight. They're going to bide their time. Breathe, wait for a moment. Not get too greedy, not to get too greedy. Wait for everyone to fight. He's in a perfect spot here. If there was an ideal spot, this is a spot they want to be in. They wait. They wait for their strike. They got scanned out. They have no choice but to fight now. Scan back out. Maybe they probably did not pay attention. They throw the thermite to do some extra damage. Solid damage. Is it enough? Nope. Unfortunately gets knocked. Hard holds, uses a shield for cover. This isn't necessarily bad. They can buy some time here. Now they're top 4 if they just breathe. Because there are a lot of teams picking on everybody. This is getting pretty intense. Everyone is just rezzing. There is a drone out in play. There's the arc star. He has to run. Uses his Q, tries to get out. And reposition. My God, are they finding some of the best rat spots I have ever seen. They are a New York City rat. These rats are amazing of what we're watching right now. Let's take a look. Oh, does he hear him? We're following the journey of the rat, ladies and gentlemen, quite literally.
Let's go this way.
I almost don't even want to switch out. I want to see if he actually makes it out of this alive. I'm literally, we as a chat together, we are embodying the life of the rat. He doesn't even, he's afraid to heal. I don't even know if he has heals. Does he have heals, ladies and gentlemen? He hears the fight, he hears the battle, and he's about to go on. He hasn't even healed. Feels the edge of that circle, feels the pressure. He gets to watch and we get to commentate with him. Unfortunately, he's probably going to get knocked here in a minute. You know, he just goes right into it. He says, you know what? I'm a part of all the teams. I'm a part here. Wall bounce. Gets that good flex. Gets some solid damage. Go for a swap. Big brains it. Misses a swap. Misses a swap. There he goes. There's a swap. He pretends he's a part of the team. This Wraith has no idea who this man is. He's in a top 2 situation. I can't believe he survived that long. That's crazy. That's insane. I know we could have watched the other stuff, but that was crazy to watch, ladies and gentlemen. That was insane. All right, let us update the score if it has been updated. All right, it has not been updated. Okay. We got one more round of the day. We got one more round. Once we go into the next round here, this is game 6 of the next round. I appreciate all of you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for, of course, more content. Don't forget to leave a like. There's so many of you guys in chat. Don't forget to leave a like. It helps other people find and locate the stream. I need to go to the washroom to take a breather. I need to come back. I need to refill my water and everything. I suggest you do the same. Don't leave. We got one round left. Literally one round. And I feel like T1 is throwing this, man. They had such a strong start at the beginning of this of everything. But let's take a breather. Everyone get up. Step away if you can for a moment and come back because we got one more round. I'm going to update this and say match 6. We literally have one more round. Whew, man. This has definitely been intense. Okay. Whew, all right. Let's reset. Let's do an analysis of this. Let's take a breather and we'll come back and hopefully we'll see some scores that are updated for us to take a look at. See if there is take a look at the standings have been updated. Let's look at 2 seconds. I'm just pulling up scores. Okay. If they're available. Okay. Let me go to the washroom. Let's take a breather. Let's come back, and we're going to get into the final round. You don't want to miss it. Trust me. We're literally going to find out at the end here where we're at the end. So I'm really, really excited. Let me make sure we got everything situated. Okay. Yeah, let's step away. Let's step away just for a hot second, and we'll be right back. Let me hop into the server at least. Game 6, ladies and gentlemen. Game 6. All right, let's see here. Just letting everything catch up with chat. Shout out to everyone in chat for being here. I want to make sure I give you guys a shout out. Just know that I appreciate all you guys for watching. Here. Okay, I will be right back. I apologize. Let's take a breather. Let's come back, and we'll come back for the final round. I'm already in the round, and we'll come right back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Everyone is filling in right now. Thank you guys for the patience. Hopefully you got yourself some water. Came back, and we are ready to go. Okay, let's see here. Let's see if the score has updated. Here. All right, perfect. And it looks like we're good to go. I'm ready. I'm pumped. Let me see if the scores are updated and see if we can locate them. Right. I'm going to pull it up, see how things are going. Everyone's piling in at the moment. Okay, for some reason it's not updating on that section, so I need to locate where we can find the updated scores. All right. Take a look at the teams. Look at the standings. Excuse me. It's taking a second to load. Looks like all the other rounds are taking a moment to update too. That's super strange. I want to know the final standings. Looks like everyone seems to be having a little bit of an issue. Okay, we'll just hang tight then on the score. So I apologize for that, chat. We will get those scores and we will hop in as soon as possible. All right, so pretty pumped. We're back here. This is the final match of the day. I know I needed a moment just to digest, to kind of get everything up and going. Let's see here. APAC North. Let's see if they're updating the standings. Okay. Looking at the date, catching up with where we're at. Let's go to finals. Okay, so this is what we're looking at currently on the overall scores. So we're about to get started, so I apologize. My gosh, has it been a hot second. Whatchamacallit. I'm like trying to also I'm like wired, I'm not gonna lie. So we started at 4 a.m. I stayed up all night, and it's been a very, very interesting night, just going through in the middle of the night essentially. Like, I started literally at 4 a.m. It's now 7:11, no pun intended there. And we're about to get into the next round. So if you're just tuning in, this is APAC North Official. This is the last round of the night. So we're about to see who is going to take the lead. So I did find that T1 is currently in first at 59 points. FLK is at 48 points. LFT is at 41. And DNT is at 34. And SG is at 30. So realistically, these are the 5 teams that we're really looking at that are going to make a difference. That's going to be the biggest thing. So we're about to get right back into it and really talk about why things are going. Okay, so I got word that we're about to start in just a hot second. Take a look at the back end. Again, guys, don't forget to leave a like. There's a lot of people here, and I really, really appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Really glad to have just all of you guys being a part and just hanging out. It really, really means a whole lot. We do have a lot more content here on the channel, so if you do subscribe, we're going to have a video go out later today regarding Fuse and talking about a detailed analysis of him. So I highly recommend that you check that out when it comes out later. It's going to be very, very exciting to post that. If you haven't seen it, you're just tuning into the channel. On my channel, we actually have a guide talking about the new 3030 repeater. So as we're looking at competitive and we're talking about competitive APACs today, that is something that you should definitely take a look into. And the fact that what is that going to change with the meta? Is that going to be a massive difference in the gunplay? I think for the 3030 repeater, I think it will make a pretty big splash. As we're seeing the charge rifle make a big difference. We're seeing a sentinel make the difference in terms of a shot. So it's overall pretty exciting. Selly is on Crazy Raccoon. That's his squad. We still have T1 at the forefront, though. T1 is still currently at the forefront. We'll see if they manage to clutch it out. Everyone looks like they're ready. I see people readying up. This is a pretty clutch round. The teams to look at who are going to take the overall first place win are either going to be T1, FLK, LFT, Detonator, or SG. Those are the teams that we're really looking at. Unfortunately, Selly's team has kind of underperformed thus far, which is kind of unfortunate, but, you know, these things do happen. They can definitely make a comeback, and, you know, they're also very, very talented. So the match is underway. The final round of today. Very, very excited. Let's see who clutches it out. I'm going to wait in the back end to see who was the overall winner and the overall score, but it should be very, very obvious by the end of the overall round. Again, if you're just tuning in, thank you so much for watching thus far. You guys have all been amazing. Thank you for letting me be your commentator for today and for joining me on this journey of APAC North, Apex Legends Winter Circuit. ALGS, it's good. All right, so I don't think we're going to see any comp changes, especially since this is the last round. Everyone's just going to hard stick what they normally do. I'm curious if Team LL, considering they finally clutched out the fight with them, are going to hard push them again. They definitely... FK can't get hard griefed in this next round. They just can't. They need a win to push out to win first place overall. Who's in the lead currently? T1 is. T1 is currently in the lead. Fortunately, the scores have not been updated. I do see that they're getting updated, though, on Liquipedia. That's where we're keeping track currently. Okay, let's follow Team LL. Okay, they're going to hard contest this spot. Let's see if they're going to. And they are as well. It's going to be, again, a very, very early fight, and we're going to find out which team is going to come out on top. If FK loses this at the start, this is really bad for them. This is the situation that they don't want to be in, constantly having to 50-50 their way out. The last round was definitely detrimental to them. It's not good. So, hold your breath. Let's find out how this fight is going to happen, because this is a team, and he's already meleeing, doesn't get the hit, gets an alternator. Nice, good guns. This is a good situation to be in. See Horizon, Popper Q, all RNG at this point in terms of weapons and positioning. Sees the armor, but doesn't go for it. Nice spray, very nice spray. That's a great way to open up this round. Does a nice flick. Tries to finish him, grabs his armor, and they're back. FK is very upset of the situation, and they are not withholding any punches. They have said, you know what, you screwed with us too many times. We're tired of it. And of course, apologize for the lag. This does occur at the start of the round occasionally. It evens out and smooths out later, so I apologize if you guys are experiencing that. I see it on my end as well, so that's why I'm mentioning it. And there you go. Getting a little lag. It happens at the very start. Don't worry. This is the last match of the day, so if you're tuning in, this is definitely the round you want to sit and watch and be a part of. Solid heals going out. Very clean bunny hops, I have to say. Very nice bunny hops. And in case you guys don't know, on the channel, we actually have a guide on bunny hopping as well. Hashtag sellout. So let's take a look at T1. Obviously, they're in their spot. Going to trials. Everything is very nice there. Not too bad. Team LL is out. You pretty much can understand at this point that they're probably just log off for the day. Because that's pretty much it. You know the score. This is the last match of the day. We see them still going for the same thing. You know what we're going to do? Last time you watched them here at the start, I'm not going to do the same thing. We're going to go through everyone on the list and we're going to talk about what they're doing. Crazy Raccoon obviously has not performing as well as they like, and they've been taking Sorting Factory. They've had Sorting Factory to themselves. For T1, this is actually the best position they can be in. I don't know if you noticed, but this is the first round that we're seeing a circle on the upper left side of the map, so that's fantastic that we're seeing that. Reignite, obviously taking the staging area. They've been uncontested. Lucky them. They've been kind of enjoying the loot, trading armors, flipping things out, and they're the one team that's running a Pathfinder. Now, for LFT, they've been taking Thermal Station. They've had long rotations to kind of get out where they need to. They have a long one this go-around. Normally, it's been on the bottom right side of the map, but this time, they don't have such a luxury. They're going to have to push through quite a few teams. Now, CCC obviously has a hard rotation that they had to push through. They just finished looting, but they have to go through tree. They can go through harvester side. They most likely won't go through churn yard. They may go on the left side, are going to be either the left or the right is going to be their play. GTS looking pretty solid. They actually may get into a gunfight here in a second. We may actually, you know what? We're going to sit here for a second. We're going to take a look at the leader of the pack because they're about to run into each other and get into a fight and secure this positioning. And the beauty as you start to understand a lot of Apex Legends, and I guarantee you even you guys could commentate and follow along and fully understand, is that people start to move in predictable patterns. As the pros, even that's how they're predicting their situations. They know if they stay here for too long that there's going to be another team, and look at that, it's already occurring that another team is going to appear. Everyone knows that if a fight lasts longer than probably, let's say, 30 seconds, that it's probably not worth it anymore. So each team knows that they're holding the ground. This other team is going to be hearing it too, those shots as well if it goes for too long. He's going to try to take an off angle or go for a kidnap, whichever one is most effective. Here's shots from going all around. Notices that his team is getting fried, gets some solid damage, gets some knock on the caustic, and Gibraltar has gone back through the port just to recover. Gets a solid crack, nice finisher. The Wraith jumps in the air, he's got to clean it up, and once he cleans it up, the other team's going to push right from behind. Unfortunate. The other team that was waiting just knew if they bided their time that they would be able to come in and do a cleanup. So for GTS, this really puts them in a rough situation. This is not looking good for them at this point. Let's take a swap. It looks like there's a lot of fights happening over at Geyser. This is what happens. It seems like everyone's getting a little ballsy at this point. Everyone's kind of making some big plays and saying, you know what? We're just going to have to put ourselves out there and kind of see what happens and what sticks. People are not playing respectfully anymore. We're not seeing the passive play that we did before. People are just saying, you know what? We got to get points. It's the last round. You know, we got nothing to lose. You're seeing all the teams that got nothing to lose really pushing for some big stuff. And the teams with a lot to lose, like T1, are going to be playing a lot more passive. They do not want to get into a gunfight unless they're forced to. And I rest assured, because they have the position of Skyhook, they're not going to be giving it up. Let's take a look at SGs. They got a great shot from a distance. SG realizes they need points on the scoreboard, and they're just going to full send it. Going to make some big plays here. They see a team on the left, and hopefully they're aware there's also a team on the right. This may not be the smartest play for them, but again, they're looking for points. They're looking for the big plays. They know that just by simply winning is not going to be enough to secure first place. But they know that they secured their top 10 situation, or they're in the top 10, and that they feel confident that if they run around and get some kills, and there we go, that they'll be able to score something. Fortunately, that's not necessarily their down, but they're going to probably go for some loot here in a second off that. Good reset.
We should go here.
And we'll see what happens. Everyone's holding. There's less teams now available than there was before.
Evo shield here. Level 2.
A lot of charge rifles in play. Very, very popular gun that we're seeing during APAC. Let's take a switch over. Let's take a look at T1. T1 is getting contested already here. Like I said, teams are playing differently now. They know they have to fight. T1, on the other hand, does not want to fight. I promise you, they're going to stay hunkered down in here and they will not move a muscle. They know that the last 2 rounds, they have not been having good placement. They need good placement this round. They've been getting kills. I guarantee they're tired of getting knocked out early. They're going to be holding. They're waiting. I'm keeping an eye on T1 because if T1 gets knocked out here, it could be anyone's game. We realize the questions that are currently arising that they don't want to push. They're not going to drop on this. A lot's going through their head. This team from down below probably has a feeling that this is T1. Because most people in the lobby have probably already realized that T1 goes for trials. They're fighting another team down below. T1 can't get greedy here, though. They may hear other shots, but they cannot get greedy. So they're going to hard hold. And most realities, they probably would drop down, but in this situation, they're not going to. Seems like this is the biggest team that's fighting right now. They can't stay here too long either, because realize that the clock has 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, if they do not start leaving by 1 minute and 30, they're going to get caught out in rotation. Every second literally counts in getting a good position in the circle. They need to rotate up to the north side, but if they don't do it anytime soon, they're losing more and more ground, and that's a really scary situation to be in. So they got 30 seconds to make a decision here. Otherwise, I promise you, this will not end well for T1. Looks like Crazy Raccoon's already getting into a gunfight too, but I really want to hold in T1, guys. We're going to hold on T1. I'm sticking with it. I'm not switching off. We're going to hold on to this. Solid damage. He's going to rotate out and swap with one of his teammates to do some extra damage. It seems Detonator's the one that's contesting. They throw the Gibby ult, and at this point, yes, they have to drop before they take too much damage. Fortunately, they are separated from their caustic, but they don't know that. They got to res out. And they need to make a play. This is definitely way too long of a fight. It's now 1 minute and 21, and look at zone. There's too many people held up. This is not looking good for T1. They have been in this fight for far too long. This is a nerve-wracking situation for T1. So Detonator is making the rotation in. But the fact that this is occurring so late is not good. We're waiting to hear the footsteps. They've waited too long. At this point, their option is just to zone it. If they leave now, they're only going to get sandwiched. Their best option at this point is just to full-on zone it and be at the very edge. There's a scan. Luckily, he was not picked up. They may full send it thinking it's only 2 people. And there's the port. Got him in an angle. Only snagging the 14s because the EVA 8, unfortunately, sometimes can only snag a little damage. Takes height, and they're going to look for their opportunity. This circle is definitely really rough as there's not as much cover as one thinks. There's a lot on the line for T1 here. First place team having to struggle. Let's switch over to FL and see how they're doing. They got to fight. They're hard chasing a team over here. I will switch back to T1 as the zone is closing because I know that's very important for us to capture. They're hard chasing this team though. Trying to make sure we don't miss anything. Nice spray. Nice spray. And they're hard chasing, going for those points. There's a knock. There's the finisher. And they get to sit up nice and pretty here. They don't realize, though, there's another team nearby. This is not looking good for them. We're about to see a fight break out. Unfortunately, I switched away from the Wraith. The unfortunate timing. I apologize for that. Let's take the off angle. Gets a nice R99. Goes for the bat. He's going to get pushed here in just a hot second. Fortune gets knocked, and all we have left is a Gibraltar. Does a nice spray. 150 damage, but it's not enough. And they get knocked out. early. Crazy Raccoon is making a nice comeback here, and let's take a look at T1 as they find a building to hold up in for a little while. They're most likely not going to fight. They're going to wait patiently. There's no reason to, but you know, actually, they might full send. Yeah, they're full sending a building to be safe. Understandable, respectable, as they're just trying to find the right positioning and the right angles to ensure that they stay alive long enough in the map. This is going to pull north. There's not a lot of space here. This is going to get really uncomfortable very, very fast. We got 2 minutes. 2 minutes where everything gets really overwhelming and gets really scary. These teams are all held up and they're not going to fight. The teams that have to worry are teams like T1 as they're going to push in from behind. Let's take a look at SG. SG does have a pretty strong spot and they're actually going to hard gate team, so we're going to keep an eye on them now. They know there's multiple teams here. They're looking for the ramp, but do they waste all that time? There's 2 teams on the north side. If they hold here too long, it's only going to mean death. Is that 1 point really worth it is really the question. Again, every point does matter, but also every second matters. Every second really does make a big difference. Let's take a look at ORT as they're getting into a fight over here. They're hard gating and they're just taking shots from a distance. T1 has a rough situation here. When they rotate out, realize, let's take a look at T1. Let's take a look at T1 as they're about to fight. They're in a fight already. Get a nice crack already. Nice damage. Nice knock. Finishes it up. Good cleanup. There's only 3v1. There's no way they lose this. Cleanup City. They can call them Mr. Clean. Another team rotating in, falling in right behind him. T1 is in a rough spot here. Nice 93 damage. 94 damage, excuse me. Going for the crack. They need to reposition. He may jump outside of the side of the building to go for some damage, but it seems like this caustic is popping off. He can't take too much damage. He has to reconvene with his team. And they need to clean this up quickly to where it matters. He needs to pull out his shotgun and really make a play. You hear them down below. They got 13 seconds and they have to rotate. All they're doing is gathering some materials for the tough fight ahead. Because they have an open area here and they really have nowhere to really run. I'm going to stick with them because if they manage to clutch this out, they will win first place overall for the first winter circuit here. And if they don't, well, that just means that we know that there's an opportunity for another team to take first place overall. SG does have a knock, unfortunately. They are getting too greedy on the outside as a 2v1. I'm going to switch back to T1 just now. Let's switch back over to T1 because things are getting pretty close over here and getting pretty intense. There's multiple fights happening and breaking out all at once. There's 10 teams. There's not enough space. And so naturally we're going to see a lot of intensity happening. He's going to stick the res. He's got a gold bag. He's going to pick up. He didn't take damage. How did that happen? Somebody's going to be upset questioning why they didn't take any damage. I'm upset. I mean, you know, hey, listen, you know. You want to see the damage where it hits. Somehow he did not take the damage. This, like I mentioned, this is an impossible situation for T1. They're getting shot from literally every single angle, and all they can do is just bide time. And there it is. T1 gets knocked out. This is really anyone's game, and it's going to come down to the overall score that we're going to really see. Because I don't know if that's where the points are going to land. Who's going to get first place overall? SG is just going to really kind of camp it out and just kind of vibe. We have North, who has optimal positioning. Overall, they maintain a mass majority of the circle. But the question is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? Because the problem is, by holding so much of a space, it leaves you vulnerable for everybody wanting to claim it. Let's take a look at Crazy Raccoon. Crazy Raccoon, there is a Gibby ult out, which makes it quite intense. Does get the bat off. Starts walking his way back in. They need to push through. They need this positioning. They want this spot. Nice flick over to the barrel. We see a lot of fighting for positioning here with not a lot of space. There's realistically only 3 angles to really be in. Selly has had some really big plays today. This may not get them enough to go for first place, obviously, overall, but it may be enough to put him in the top 10. We see them catch him out. We see multiple teams here. Selly, unfortunately, gets knocked. He's going to try to get the residence angle and has a gold bag. He's only got 20 seconds, though. The zone is going to hurt.
It's a sniper.
He's not patient. Looks like, unfortunately, their caustic did get a little overzealous there. There are multiple teams. There's multiple charge rifles, and there's a lot of damage going out.
Hostile close.
What it looks like Crazy Raccoon is doing is that they're saying, you know what, while we care for placement, we need those kills. And it's smart of them to recognize that, but it's definitely hard because they're about to run into another team gating them right behind. And now they become the sandwich. Unfortunate positioning, very, very hard fight. Nice damage, making it even harder for their opponents to get any sort of spacing in. Nice use of the horizon. Is it enough to survive? It is. Oh, man, so close. The Wraith tries to find positioning by flying in. Unfortunately, it may not be enough. A lot of people are dying to zone. A lot of positioning going haywire. Let's take a look at ORT. They got the angle here. They are unaware of who's nearby. Let's take a look at HE. HE maintains some of the strongest positioning here. Let's keep a close eye on them here. Very nice. Good cleanup there. 81 damage in. And there's the crypto ult, giving them pretty much free reigns to come in and mop this up. They just need to be mindful of the team that's right behind them. Hopefully they don't push them while they're making this clean execute. They have about 10 seconds to make a clean wipe. If they take longer than that, well, they're in for some trouble as they clutch out from behind. This fight is taking way too long, especially after the entry level damage. They're healing up. They're trying to find an angle. There's the damage. There's almost a knock. Guarantee you is probably about 20 HP remaining. Takes height, tries to take a different position. They don't know the full extent of the situation. They believe there's one team, but they realizing that there's multiple now. Solid damage from a good EVA 8. They're trying to figure out the situation. They're trying to take whatever loot they can. They're going to find different positioning here. Gus realizes that. Cleans it up, and now they're going to wait for the positioning. We got 3 teams remaining. We got HE, we got Northception, who has definitely optimal positioning here, and of course we have ORT. This is a pretty big round for all 3 of these teams. Nobody's going to move. Nobody's going to move until they realize where the zone is.
Let's check out this way.
We have a solid amount of time while we wait here. We got 1 minute and 30, and we have to wait. Nobody's going to engage. Nobody wants to be the instigator here. Even if you get a knock. Not going to push it. Why would you? They're just trying to get some poke damage here. There's no way they would push on that. It won't make any sense. Everyone's waiting for somebody to make a mistake. The goal here at this point is for somebody to make a mistake. The question is, what team is going to get too antsy and make it? Is it going to be HE Arise, ORT, or is it going to be Northception? I keep saying North. Is it going to? We'll just say North. I apologize. It's late, ladies and gentlemen. It is very late. I've been up all night. Have not slept. We hang tight. And keep in mind, lots on the line here. Who is going to make the first mistake and get cracked first? Looks like North Ace might be making the mistake here. He's definitely putting himself out there. If he gets cracked while the zone is closing, that is not good news. He, out of everyone of the group so far, is the one making the play. We have multiple cryptos in play. We have 2 crypto teams in play at the moment. There's a scan for information. No damage goes out from either side. Everyone's kind of filling out the situation. There's some solid damage there. Only 28, though. Solid damage. Good 32. The zone is closing. Everyone's picking on the team over by the car. Let's take a look. They do have a Gibby ult, so they're putting the pressure right back. What everyone is trying to do is deter from making them the center focus, and tons of damage just went out. Massive amount of damage. Huge nades, huge damage. All they need to do is wait, and there's the crypto ult. Massive play. Exactly what they need and exactly what they're looking for. And now they wait again. Those teams should be fighting. Let's take a look at their POV. The question is, with so much little space, let's take a look at HE. They're diving in. They're feeling confident on this. They said, we know we did a lot of damage. One team's already wiped, and now just a 3v3. Gets a little greedy on it, unfortunately. It was like a 3v1 situation there. But unfortunately, they might be able to clutch it out. One. Crack. It's not enough, unfortunately. North gets the win here. Now we need to take a look at the overall scoreboard, because it's not necessarily clear overall who won this. It's really going to come down to the points and where they fall. Take a look here. Wow, what a game. Huge congratulations to all the teams that really played. That was pretty crazy, pretty intense. Good last round. Very interesting rounds that we run into, especially with the variety here. So unfortunately, T1 did get knocked out quite early. Earlier than they would prefer. North definitely had a lot of points, so did HE. There was definitely a massive switch of points that are flying around. I may unpin my prior comment. I'll probably get you guys the overall scoreboard for ALGS finals here in a second. Honestly, T1 might have still managed to clutch this out for first, but I'm still trying to... Let's see here. The points are being allocated as we speak. So what I'm going to do... We see the final score. It looks like T1 may have gotten overall first place. They're filling in the score. What I'm going to unlink my spreadsheet. And I'm going to share with you guys in just a hot second the updated score. Okay. There we go. And we're just waiting. I'm just waiting for all the scores to be tallied. And once they are, I'm going to share this other sheet with you guys, as everyone was having definitely having some issues in terms of scoring, but that's okay. It's, you know, there's a lot of points being dished out, and it's only natural that this is going to happen, you know. All right, they're just reporting the scores. Once they get the final verdict, after they report all the scores, then we're going to get a verdict here. But my gosh, is that pretty close? I'm not going to lie. Again, as we're just here in the lobby, I want to thank all of you guys for watching thus far. We're going to declare a winner here in just a hot second. And yeah, seriously, thank you guys. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe. I have a major video coming out later today about Fuse that you do not want to miss. I promise. Rest assured, you do not want to miss. So I'm really, really excited about that video. All right, so we'll get the scores in just a hot second. And once I do, I will be sure to report it to all you guys. Don't forget to leave a like. I am going to post the VOD of this. I will timestamp it once it's all live on every single match that did occur out of all the 6. It was a very long night and overall very, very crazy. Again, hopefully you enjoyed my commentary. Third time doing it, and I've had a lot of fun spending a ton of time with you guys. overall with everything. Seriously, it means the world, the fact that you guys have come out, supported the channel. We've peaked at a viewership that I've never quite seen before. This has been very, very insane. I just want to thank you guys. Seriously, thank you guys so much. Okay. Give it another minute here. I literally see it being updated, so I'm going to check this out in just a moment. Okay, actually, I'm going to update the spreadsheet. Here. All right, it looks like, just to confirm, we have T1 in first place at 65 points. We have Fennel Korea at 60 points. And we have LFT in third place at 54 points. So congratulations to T1. Massive, massive congratulations for coming in first for the first #1 ALGS Winter Circuit. So definitely huge congratulations. I'll be sure to reshare the spreadsheet here in a second. Okay, yeah, it looks like T1 snagged it. Again, we'll reiterate, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget, seriously, do not forget to come by the channel later, because I will have first access look at Fuse. So be sure to check it out. You have to. I know you're not going to want to miss that. So turn on notifications. Really appreciate everyone for watching. I can't believe I stayed up all this late. I'm stammering. It's been amazing. I love you guys so much for supporting the channel. It's been amazing. Don't forget to leave a like. I will see all of you guys in the next video, and we'll continue to commentate. We'll continue to cover APAC. That's currently what I'm covering now, but honestly, if we branch out to NA and EU, I'll be more than happy to do it. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.